Friday of 30th July 2021. Tarehe ni 30 mwezi wa 7 mwaka 2021. Natumai kwamba uko salama, uko fiti, umeanza siku yako vizuri na wiki imekuwa shwari kabisa na uko tayari kuanza weekend. Nasikia pia kanaanza umana leo.
Birthday yangu birthday.
Ni birthday.
Yes.
Ai. Lazima tuimbie Ekuru happy birthday hapa. 30th.
Yes.
By the way, imbieni President Daktari Ekuru Aukot happy birthday hapo kwa kona. Lakini kama kuna mtu mwenye anajua kuimba zaidi, I think Musono ni kama uko live, kama tayari ushaingia pale, lazima utaimbia President happy birthday. Happy birthday my brother. We want to wish you more wisdom, more growth, more grace na baraka za miaka mrefu bana. Unajua hakuna
I'm almost getting to the 5th floor.
Ai, unakanyaga 5th floor.
Bado tu.
Mungu akuongezee iko 150.
Yes.
So happy birthday my brother. Thanks also for being part of this. It's a pleasure to have you again this week. Tutakuombea. Mimi kama bishop nitakuwekelea mikono na miguu.
Kabisa. Bora usiniangushe. Ayaye ni mabishop unaangusha watu. Unapigwa pop.
Wewe unataka kuombewa ama hutaki kuombewa?
Kuombewa naombewa lakini usiniangushe bwana. Sababu naonaga zingine hiyo kuangushwa kuna drama mingi sana.
Mimi naangusha ni Roho Mtakatifu. Roho Mtakatifu.
Fungu la
10. Unajua kitambo nikiwa high school ama nikiwa shule. Nani alikuwa ameingia, anaitwa nani huyu jamaa? Ndiye alikuwa ameanza tu sarakazi zake za mahubiri. Huyu jamaa mandevu.
Nani daktari.
Sasa akakujanga pale
ndani. Na mimi by the way.
Ni kama jamaa alichukua sabbatical kidogo. Unajua Nairobi
is a scientist. Many people do not know.
Really?
Exactly like what do you call it? It's a very very high tech science. Luckily educated I think
in Israel, yeah. He went to school in Israel.
He's a serious scientist.
Interesting. So jamaa akakuja na hizo masine mare.
Haiko na pesa.
Lazima unajua kupima hesabu hata kama ni wewe. Unajua bwana hii town imekuwa ngori. Hata mimi nilikaa hapa nikaona ama jamaa bwana hizo ataka wanatoanga yeye ifike.
Lakini wewe mbona uliacha hii kazi vitoka?
Bwana unasikia jamaa anaangusha shilingi kwa kikapu bwana. Unasikia chini.
Unasikia unahubiria watu huko Mombasa bwana.
Unasikia jamaa anaangusha shilingi bwana kwa kikapu. Na vile hiyo uchumi ni mbaya.
Na unataka
bwana sitaki kusikia sauti ya pesa. Ikinyamaza najua ni noti. Lakini ukisikia kaleng unajua majamaa bwana wanakupea mapeni. Nairobi tayari ni ngumu, maisha tayari ni ngumu. Nikaona hapa hii kazi ya Mungu hiyo ni ngumu kidogo. Lakini basi sisi bado tuko happy birthday my brother and we want the best for you. We pray for you. May God give you more wisdom and more years to live. Na pia akupe nafasi bana uongoze nchi. You see, anasemanga the people who have ideas are not in leadership and the people in leadership have no ideas. So we hope someday we'll see an inverse.
But it's changing. It's changing. I'm a very hopeful Kenyan. I know that Kenyans will not be forever foolish or be stupefied by this conniving political class. Mabadiliko yanakuja. Unajua even before we change to go to the current constitution, unajua stories kubadilisha katiba ilianza zamani sana. In the I think late 80s up to early 1990, 91, 92 hapo repeal of section 2A of the constitution ikaleta mambo ya multi-party democracy. And then agitation ikaanza mpaka wakati wa mwisho Moi I think 2000 akasema hii katiba haibadilishi na Wanjiko. Akakubali ile kamati ya CKRC ya Yashpal Gai 2005 hiyo referendum ikaanguka. Baadaye committee of experts wakaja. I'm very very grateful that I was involved in that process. Ndio tukapatia Wakenya katiba ya sasa. Kwa hivyo mabadiliko yanawezekana. Because hakuna mtu alidhani kwa mfano ati rais Uhuru Kenyatta anaweza kuwa rais wa Kenya. Hata after Moi kumsukumia kwa watu. Unakumbuka? Moi akimsukumia mbele akina Saitoti. Saitoti was his vice president.
Jamaa alikuja na koti kubwa bwana inafika kwa magoti.
Alafu akaambia ati wewe ndio mimi nimechagua. Ndio kijana mimi nimechagua.
Wewe ndio kijana.
Ndio kijana.
Unaona huyu kijana? Kuja hapa kijana. Hii ndio takuwa rais yenu.
Wakenya wakamwangusha asubuhi na mapema.
Never yatawezekana bila Moi. Kuna watu wanafikiria kwamba kama tuli move on from Moi. You move on from a system. Wewe ni nani bwana?
Hata Uhuru will move on from him.
We'll move on and life will continue. Kibaki, who talks about Kibaki today?
Exactly.
You know, and I think this is a reminder to most of these leaders that life moves on, goes on. There'll be a country beyond you. There'll be a country. That's after true. You, there'll always be a country. So, I mean, wasika sana wakafikiria kama they are very indispensable.
In fact, that's why for me, I keep on encouraging people to talk. That even the current problem we are seeing in Kenya, the political machinations, calculations, of a few people. Me, I tell Kenyans, stay strong. Things will change. So long as you are committed to changing your country, nobody will change it for you. Ni sisi tu wa Kenya tutabadilisha nchi.
Haya, kabla tujaenda sana, nimeingia kwenye mjadala, wacha tuombe kama kawaida. Alafu tutakuja tu introduce mgeni pia ambaye ni mara yake ya kwanza. Lakini Douglas ambia mgeni vile ataketi vizuri karibu na microphone yake na kamera yake, basi alafu tuweze kufanya kazi pamoja. Mighty Father, we come before you this morning. We worship you, glorify your name. Thank you for another opportunity to be alive this morning. We thank you for a new day. We thank you also for the discourse that you are about to have. We thank you for Sheria Wiki Hii. Comes every Friday. We get to have a conversation with Kenyans on the things that matter to them. As we start to be with us, when we finish, glory and come back, honor shall come back to your name. You know, the one also want to pray for our brother Daktari Ekuru Aukot on his birthday. May you bless him, may you grant him more wisdom and more years to live on this earth, and may you bless him with more resources to be able to move and make an influence in this country. We pray that you're going to be with us when we finish. Glory and honor shall come back to your name. It's mighty name we and believe. Amen and amen. Haya, Mungu alita continue kutoka anasa morning team kutoka Convent United Kingdom. Morning team tackle tuning in from Convent United Kingdom. Good to be part of this morning Sheria Wiki edition. Kagi Faith. Good morning, Jera. By the way, receive apologies from Mheshimiwa Honorable Gathoni Wamuchomba. Actually, she was scheduled to travel outside the country, but then again, nizake flight schedule ikabadilika, so akaweza kuja na sisi, lakini atakuwa in the next 10 days she'll be back on Sheria Wiki. Yaweza kupiga story pamoja. Mimi niona alisema after 3 degrees. Aya, mheshimiwa, safiri salama, have a safe flight and enjoy your stay where you're going. We'll see you again in the next 2 weeks. I hope you'll be able to come in to the talk so we can have this conversation. Kagife, good morning Jira. Good morning to you Gaki. Na wewe leo tarehe ngapi? Leo tarehe 30. Tarehe 26 ilienda wapi? Ngoroki wa Massive following and watching from County 001. Asante Honorable EK Kurgat. Good morning, tuned in from Eldoret. Clis Shirikwa anasema morning already tuned in following from Eldoret. Asante sana Shirikwa. Huyu jamaa kona kakesi daktari. Ndakuuliza saizi uone vile unaweza msaidia. Laksiji anasema pap ndani morning JB and Rata. Asante sana Nation Kirwa. I hope that kesho utakuwa Radio Jambo. Haya, tutakuwa na daktari Ekuru wale tukishaga wabedhuli na wakora. Haya, Mwili Joshua anasema falling from Kitui. Condition Apello Tiang anasema Dr. Ekuru. Mwili Joshua anasema falling from Kitui. MC Ken, good morning Jera Bitok. Dan Achaba, good morning people. Good morning to you. Rist Ivan, good morning. Kimbo, good morning niko ndani from Eldoret. Laksi G watching from Algasa. Hey, Algasa ni wapi ndugu?
Algasa.
Umejua, umegoogle ni wapi?
Sijajua.
Hey, bwana tusaidia Laksi G.
Karabuni ama wapi?
Ni kama sounds more like Karabuni. Haya, utuambie Algasa ama Algwasa iko wapi? Lakoske anasema good morning JB, good morning to Daktari Ekuru mwenyewe anasema very good morning to you all. Let us talk about Kenya kabisa. John Ndiki wa 9, good morning all. Muli Joshua, Dr. Aukot, Samuel Ocheng, good morning. Rais wetu wa Walanyasi, I'm your big follower from Kisumu. Asante sana Ocheng. Ekuru Aukot, good morning. Muli Isaac Tirop waiting, asante sana Kiblenge Birgen. Good morning Gerald. Evan Comment, good morning all. Keja Graphics, good morning this evening. Good to see you my brother. Good evening all day from diaspora. Ondari Cosmas, good morning to you. Aska Mebur, good morning listening in from Alberta, Canada. Thanks Bito for helping us stay informed and for keeping it real. Great fan of the show. Asante sana Aska Mebur. May God bless you abundantly. Tutakuja Canada tutafika.
Tunaanza hizi show lini bwana?
Tutaanza si mambo ya COVID regulations ili tusumbua. Lakini tayari tushapata invitation ya US, tumepata Australia. Aska Mebur naona kama anaweza tuita Canada. Jana tulipata ya UK. Last week tulipata ya UK.
Na jana pia counties watu wanasema
tutaanza kupeleka mashinani. Kamukunji hapa Kibra.
Tuenda Kitisuru.
Tungena wananchi twende Githiru tupige debe ndugu yetu hapa. Alafu tuzunguke twende mpaka Turkana pale. Tuzungumze na watu Turkana. Mbuzi zimejaa Turkana lakini nasikia nyama kilo moja ni 800 shillings.
Wacha nikwambie na mbuzi ya Turkana hata uhitaji kuweka chumvi. Tamu tu yani. Unachoma tu alafu unakula tu.
Ndio maana wanauza 800. Nasikia kilo ni 800.
Ni kitu very qualitative.
Si quantitative.
No, qualitative.
Aya, Edward Sonko ni brother Mungu mbele. Joel Arama chama diaspora edition, blessed birthday to President Aukot. Asante sana Kaki Faith. Edia Hejok, happy birthday. More grace. Asante sana Jackson James Ingo. Hey, happy birthday sa Ekuru Aukot. Asante sana David Kamau. Asante good morning. It's a good day the Lord has given us. I wish everyone a blessed day. Thank you so much my brother David Kamau, and thanks for being a great fan of the taco. Mwangi wa Wamboi, good morning Gerald Bitok to you from Kenyatta Road, Juja Asla's bedroom. Haya. Hey. Some happy birthday, Dr. Lakoski, happy birthday, Senior Ekuru Aukot. May you live to enjoy all your biblical life as you serve your people and family. Tunakutambua kama mungwana. Alitaka kupunguzia Wakenya mzigo, lakini dynasties wakaingilia. Haya, wakili Daniel Onsari, and some happy birthday, Le President, Dr. Aukot, Chereget, Bera, and some morning to class, to hear from you guys. Happy birthday to Dr. Ekuru Aukot. Appeal to Kondani kabisa. Happy birthday to you, Yoni Kimgati Collins, Josh Jemuel Sons, and some happy birthday, Dr. Simeon Samuelson Thiga. Good morning, Mr. Gerald Bitok. Say hi to our panelists. I'm watching live from Las Vegas. Actually, tell Honorable Dr. Ekuru Aukot is still waiting for him up at Las Vegas. Tuende bana Nakuru. Alex Inyasa, my birthday, President, may you live long, Mambet. Hi, Boniface Kiviego. Great conversation, Marcus Hillary. Happy birthday. He's sharing birthday with my friend. Happy birthday to all of you. Happy birthday to you, to your friend. Wanasema to your friend ama to you to your friend.
This is normal. Japo na jeni leo ndio nilizaliwa. This is normal kujua gitarehe ya kunini. Nilizaliwa watu wakiwa njiani.
Unapewa tu. Unaambia wewe tunakupea tarehe 7, wewe tunakupea 17. Ila good to see you my brother. Another morning general watching live from Ildamat Kajiado. No sound. Salimia mgeni. Sauti iko bana labda simu yako. Duncan Limo, happy birthday Mr. Ekuru Aukot. Mark Morrison Birir watching live from Eldoret. Muraidi Duncan, happy birthday Ekuru. Keep up the good work. Julius Were, happy birthday Mheshimiwa. Ezra Mayo, good morning to you Gerald. Salimia Dr. Ekuru Aukot falling from Doha, Qatar. Asante ndugu yangu Hilary anasema listening from Dubai. Say hi to Gathoni Wamuchomba. Roberts amechukua break kidogo, schedule yake ya ndege ilibadilika, kwa hivyo amesafiri atarudi baada ya wiki 2. Aman Nathan anasema tune great by Dr. Ekuru. I'm optimistic that one day you will lead us. Amen. Benson Kebut, good morning. Gerald watching from Eldoret. Tindra all the way from diaspora. Good morning JB. Lela Chekro Chuk, wacha kuongea haraka sana we Gerald. Hii ni unapeleka na rieng bwana. Akili kimbia haraka isikie maneno. Kipkembo Ito, good morning Gerald and Dr. Nikondani kabisa hapa Kapsabet Nandi County. Kimon Sando, good morning GB from Kehanja Migori County. Asante sana. Duncan Limo, morning Gerald Bitok and Ekuru Aukot watching live from Kapsabet. Marcus Hillary listening from Machakos County. My wife was waiting for a women rep to speak. Poleni kidogo. Wiki 2 atakuwa amerudi. Augustine Don Kenya, Ekuru is a thorough guy. Asante. Julius Were County 040 Kinley following Stephen Kiprotich Sergon. Good morning Amodi Stein Makakinyi wakili. Morning Aukot, he knows my Luos call him. Anasema morning word opio. Aukot, he knows why Luos call him word opio. God bless. Okili Omodi from word Ogik Nyatik. Asante sana jamaa kutoka Europe. Happy birthday Dr. Ekuru Aukot, you're doing a great job for our country. Is to will be the judge watching from Cardiff, United Kingdom. Asante sana ndugu yangu. Mili Cherop, salimia Wamuchomba. We love her. Wamuchomba salamu zitamfikia lakini hajakuwa hapa kwa siku ya leo. She'll be back after 2 weeks. Jessica Kiblagat, happy birthday Mheshimiwa Gerald Bitok, mwambie anipee namba. Wewe. Peana namba. Bwana Sheria. Bwana Jesi la Dr. William Samuel utamajinani tuko locked. Asante sana msalimia mgeni. Mwambie Aslan Nation forever. Hilary Ekuru Aukot, hello brother. Haya, watu wanataka nambari. Haya, happy birthday once more. Tuingie kwenye biashara. Kuna jamaa hapa kuna shida kidogo. Acha niangalie nikutafutie. So huyu jamaa alinunua gari. Tena kusomea kipindi vile iko. Hello, there is this company known as, I'll not mention the company for now, it's an insurance company. I bought a car from another motor company and some of Mombasa in 2019 on October. I was convinced by this company to use this insurance company to insure my car. Last year, July, I was involved in a road accident. Since my cover was comprehensive, I was told my car was written off and there could be no repair than to be compensated another car.
Yes.
The motor selling company, since I was involved in an accident, they turned against me. They didn't assist rather than ignoring my calls. Last year, December, I was given discharge voucher of 1 million by the insurance company and told to wait for 60 to 90 working days. Now my worry is that 90 days elapsed, but there's nothing I've been given. I normally call every day, but there's no response. On Wednesday, they called me and said I shall be paid, but starting from next year, and that is being paid monthly amount of 100,000 Kenyan shillings.
For an insurance company.
And that's my only car. It could feed my family and my use in business. I have the discharge voucher here. He sent me. He has some mandikia barua to IRA. All these stories. But I mean, so what do you make of this? Just basically.
Let me tell you, there is a big cartel between insurance companies, medical, sometimes private hospitals and the rest. They are quick to take your money. but they are always very reluctant to pay back when it's due. So new Ukora, and I think for me it needs a serious regulation. And yes, you can actually go to court. He has a very straightforward case because no company can insure you without you paying a premium. Unalipa premium kwanza ndio unapata cover. Kama hujapata cover, they won't cover you. So ni Ukora too, and you know what they do most of the time? They also invest in people's money. Because these people, they trade with your money. The money you pay them. And insurance is just insurance. It's not like you are hoping tomorrow you will have an accident or whatever. It's actually bad business. Bad unethical business behavior. And it's almost cutting across. Ni kama tu siku hizi ukiwa tu na cover mbitok umefika tu hospitali kwanza the first thing they ask you uko na cover. The moment they know you uko na cover, hata daktari kupitia tu pale kukuangalia tu hivi wanakucharge
ni pesa anakuambia kwamba kana lepros nilishanga wakati wa Yesu
hapo hospitali.
So akona kesi.
Yes,
you can go to court.
Business has become big business.
Haya, Mr. Alutala, karibu kwenye tackle. Karibia microphone yako na usisonge sana kwenye kiti tafadhali.
Okay.
Haya, karibia microphone yako. Haya, salimia wananchi.
Amjambo wananchi. Mimi kwa majina naitwa Wycliffe Alutala. Mimi ni mwanachama wa chama cha ANC, Amani National Congress. Na mimi ni mwaniaji wa kiti cha eneo bunge la wadi ya Kitisuru hapa Nairobi kwa chama cha ANC. Mwaka wa 2022.
Kwa Musalia.
Naam.
Okay. Haya, karibu sana kwenye tackle. This is your first time on the tackle. You're most welcome. And I'll be going to have a conversation on the state, the legal and the political state of the nation.
Yes.
And all the best in Kitisuru.
Thank you.
Haya. Baada wacha niulize Alutolale. Yes. Unajua wale MC ambao wanaonekana wanamulikwa sana katika hii nchi. Ni wale wako kwa mashinani hizo county outside Nairobi. MCs wa Nairobi ni akina nani?
Amazing you.
Wajua MCs wa Nairobi labda Alutolale tuambie. Yeah, ana interact namna gani na wapiga kura wake.
Kwanza watu wa Nairobi wanajua MCA wao.
Wale wa mashinani unawasikia tu watu wamekuja asubuhi wanataka siji
wamepanga anyway.
Pesa siji. How Nairobi we have 85 MCs in Nairobi.
85
elected.
Wow. Elected.
Yeah.
85 elected MCs.
Yes, na ujaongeza nominated about 20 something.
Wow.
Yeah? Lakini hatuwajui, hatuwaoni, hatuwasikii. So I think it's very good business to be an MCA in Nairobi. Sijui kama ndio sababu Alutolala ameamua akwe MCA hapa Kitisuru.
Hakuna mtu anakuuliza kitu yote.
Hakuna mtu anakuuliza.
MCA wako wapi?
Unajua huwa tunasema kwamba viongozi ni kioo cha wapiga kura. Kiongozi ni kioo cha wapiga kura. Na hapa Nairobi tuko na wadi 85.
Okay.
Na hiyo inamaanisha kwamba tuko na MCAs 85 pamoja na wale nominated ni 100 na.
Okay.
Lakini sasa utapata ya kwamba sisi hapa Nairobi wengi wetu wakati tunaenda kupiga kura wengine wetu hata huwa hatujui kwamba MCA ni nani. Unaenda pale kwa sanduku la kupiga kura, unachagua rais, unachagua governor, unachagua mbunge. Na kwa sababu wengi wetu tuko katika ile misingi ya vyama, MCA pia unaweka tu sababu ni hiyo chama. So ina end up kwamba umepiga kura
hujui ni nani,
lakini hata hujui MC wako. Na kwa sababu ya hiyo kuna wale MCAs ambao ni wazembe ambao kwa mfano hata hawana ofisi katika maeneo yao ya wakilishi. Lakini kuna MCAs kadhaa ambao ni wazuri, wako na maofisi, wanaonekana wako pale kwa ground. So hatuwezi sema kwamba Nairobi MCAs wote hawajulikani ama haonekani. Kuna kadhaa wale ambao mimi najua wako na maofisi, wako pale kwa ground kila weekendi, wanaishi hata kwa wodi zao. Lakini pia kuna wale wengine ambao wakati alichaguliwa alihama.
Kama kuna mjamaa anaitwa Mulinya Shada anasema my MCA is forever drunk. Hapatikani.
Anakuanga maji.
Chini wodi gani?
Anakuanga jiaferi. So wewe unajua MCA wako Ekuru? Do you know your MCA?
I've just learned my MCA kid is called Oget. That's from Kilimani.
Ndio umejua
from this room.
Yes, I learned from this room. Thanks to Alutolala.
Any services you've gotten from your MCA?
Huh?
Any services you've gotten from your MCA?
No, never.
And then can,
in fact, for me, even from our road, sometimes when our road was very bad, I had to call engineer Nani Kinoti. Tell Kinoti bana.
The Valley Cat stretch.
It's
Ama ucho.
huyu jamaa nini is the director of
Nasema barabara hiyo Valley Care stretch ama ya pale chini.
Pale
Yenye
ni-
waliita mtoto yake na unye.
Margaret Wambui Kenyatta.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to call Kinoti, tell him Kinoti bana. Hii barabara yetu bana namna gani? Mbona sisi naona barabara zingine zote zimengarishwa mitaani lakini yetu. Sasa nimeacha okay ngoja daktari. Yaani MCA hata uwezi kumsikia. Hakuna mswada yote amepitisha katika county assembly. Yeah. Hapatikani ni kama tu huyo MCA maybe wa Shadrack. La mimi simjui. So siwezi kusema kama ni mlevi ama namna gani. Lakini si mwote.
Aja wako juu ya maji kama feri. I mean again the question is Ekuru then even as you're talking about all these conversations around constitutional amendments, does that not then should that not bother us? That we actually have people, we pay salaries to every month, but we don't even know them. We don't feel their influence. We don't feel their representation. We don't feel what they are doing for us. I mean, should that not bother
but
us?
you see be talk, eh? That's why for me, you and I, we promoted very much Punguza Mizigo Kenya. And the idea of Punguza Mizigo was how do we reduce the cost of governance on Kenyans? Because Kenyans are shouldering a lot of costs, including the salaries actually we pay our representatives. But we are not getting any value for it.
Yes.
And so one of the questions that was put forth in the Punguza Mizigo was, what is really the value of representation today? Like even now as MCAs. For me, I was favoring not to change, not to reduce the wards, because I wanted to use the wards as an instrument of social change, development, so that in every ward now, like say Kitisuru, the one Alutalala wants to represent in 2022, they can actually begin to count, to tick the box, like good roads, electricity, water, security, and all that. So we use the ward as the unit of development, of accelerating development, and that way we are actually able to say Kenya is developed or Kenya is equalizing in the future. And so the contrast to that was Kenyans were asking, why do we have so many members of parliament?
Yes.
You know, and our proposal was very simple. Now that we have got representation up to the ward level, 1,450 wards in Kenya elected. Kenyans told us, you don't want, nominated, because this is your taxpayers' money paying for people whose job would not even know, just because we want to please a political party. So Kenyans wanted to reduce members of parliament, and we proposed at Punguza Mizigo, 1 per county, no, actually 2, 1 woman, 1 man, and that way you have achieved the gender equality question. But then retain the 47 counties of Kenya and the 1,450 wards, but use them for purposes of developing, accelerating development. And that way you are going to bring in equality. So in fact, in the future, I even see the need for us to increase more wards than counties. The more wards we increase because of development, then we can actually now begin to have a conversation. Do we actually need 47 counties of Kenya? We may not actually need, we may probably even need just 4. North, east, south, and west, as counties. But maintain the wards so that as population increases, then you increase the wards so that people can get services at the smallest unit.
But now we don't even know MCAs.
Yeah.
So who could be serving us now in Kilimani? You don't even know him.
We don't
so
know.
even as we accelerate development of that unit, then how do we get? Because you probably know your MP.
But you see, the
but you don't
contrast
know
would be talk, that now we use the word as a basis for measuring development. Okay? So that, we channel money. Because you see, the truth for the matter is this, and Talala will tell you, that if your MCA is not in good talking terms with the governor, that ward is starved of resources. Yet it is their right to get the resources, to get clean water, to get good roads, electricity, all those things. But, so we are saying, no, development cannot be politicized. This is a basic right, And that's why for me, I think I really hope that Alutalala, nitampatia ticket akiachana na mambo ya ANC. Because ANC
akaribia kwenye chama.
Now, Bitok, this issue of representation, if you ask me, this country is not deficient of laws. We have enough laws. But as a citizenry, I also think we have a problem. Because if you look at now, Mr. Aukot here saying kwamba he doesn't know his MCA. First of all, I don't blame the MCA. I blame Mheshimiwa. Because if you are a resident of a certain ward, Mheshimiwa here is our wakili. He knows very well. Public participation is a requirement of the Constitution. You complain about roads. MCAs have funds for those particular roads, the small roads within the ward.
Yes.
When did you last attend a public participation forum in your ward?
Has he ever called it?
Now, if he has not called it,
Yes.
as a citizen, you have a duty to call on this person because you know what the law says. But now, you see the problem in Nairobi especially, and I always refer to this thing, we have this elitist mentality, whereby, and actually the problem in this country is the middle class. They hear nothing, they see nothing.
That's true.
They are just in their own world, very comfortable.
That's true.
But if we were to force our leadership to go to do what is required in law, we will not be talking of what we are talking today.
That's true.
Because can you imagine going to the ballot, electing someone, someone is sworn in, and he serves for 5 years, and you've never even asked him a question on how you want him to lead you. So whom do you blame?
I think I'll tell you the truth. Yeah, you are very right that we are also to blame as a society, because the people we elect to represent us, and it starts from this perspective, Bitok. First of all, we don't even interrogate
The people.
who are these people.
Yes.
We don't interrogate their policies.
Yes.
We don't even look at their past. What have they, for example, done in the past? Do they have capability to even deliver what they're saying they will do? You know? So, largely, the type of leadership we have in Kenya today is actually a reflection of us.
Very true.
It is our society. So even as people blame these leaders, I sometimes I laugh at it, because I'm saying, it's us Kenyans actually, this person you are blaming only has one vote. He can actually vote for himself. And one vote is not enough for him to win. Yes. But it's the vote of the majority of people who actually elect him. Yes. And then the next thing tunasikia, tunalialia, tunalalamika, sijui mtu ni mbaya, haonekani, hapatikani. Alafu isitoshe, sisi wa Kenya bado sisi ndio tunaambia huyo mtu. There's a time I went to campaign in what is that estate called after Eastleigh? Anyway, I went to campaign in the Madare. Jamaa alikuwa ananiambia, bana, si umalize hii speech yako alafu tumalizane. Tumaliza speech, tumalizane. Like my Luo friends relative will say, gonya. Gonya.
Gogo tu wanasema tufungue.
Wanasemaje kwa Kalenjin?
Itiaje. Tufungue bwana. Antayas.
Nani alikuwa amekufunga? So, people don't really interrogate leaders. They don't interrogate their policies. They don't interrogate their promises. That's why sometimes I laugh, and people think that I'm being harsh when I criticize DP Ruto. Because everybody's saying, this is the man to beat in 2022. But I'm asking Kenyans, but wait a minute. Aren't you complaining about Jubilee?
Yes.
Is in Jubilee the same party that gave you promises from 2013 up to 2017? But now you are saying actually the number 2 of that party is the guy to beat in 2022. So, me, I don't blame these politicians, because I think the political class in Kenya has perfected the art of, conmanship. They know, akina Lutalala hapa, akina Bito, akina Ekuru, Aukot, watawasikiza tu. They will listen to those lies. That's why unasikia wakisema mtu wetu. You get excited. Mtu wenu kitu gani? Kwani mtu wenu akiingia State House anawapangia nini? Anagawana na nyinyi mshahara yake. Ama akipanda hiyo ndege business class, anapanda na nyinyi. So wewe bado unaachwa tu ukisema mtu wetu mtaani.
Sema mtu wetu amesafiri.
So it's up to us Kenyans, by the way.
Mheshimiwa yuko.
Yeah, mheshimiwa yuko.
Mkubwa yuko.
So I mean, the other day I was seeing a girl child from Bungoma who scored 401 marks.
By the way, and
being forced to repeat because she could not afford school fees. Mark, you in that area, we have a ward.
Has bursary.
We have a bursary scheme from the CDF. But a girl who scored 401 marks, and the county has funds.
That's so sad.
But no one is able to question the leadership of that area as to why such a bright girl should be repeating class 8 because of lack of school fees. So, me personally, as much as we may blame the leadership, I also blame the citizenry. we are too timid, and we are so much into this belief of mtu yetu, kiongozi amesema, is like once someone is a leader, he is always right. He can't be questioned. He can't be asked questions. He's just there to do what he feels. And that's why our leaders take advantage.
What you doing, you see, there's one thing I decided to a point where we'll get into this country where I'll vote for someone I don't even know. You know? I mean, I'll look for the time when we'll vote for people you don't even know. Like, I don't need to know my MCA to feel their work. I need to feel the roles being done. I need to say things like that student, fees being paid. Someone coming up and say the office of the MCA or the MP has taken charge of this or have fixed it. I mean, I need to look for a point where I'll not need to vote for Ekuru because he's my friend.
Now, you see, that is possible, but it is only possible in a country with systems. For example, in the US, if you are a Democrat, you know what Democrat stands for in terms of economic policy, social policy, health policy, education policy, and everything. And that policy trickles down from top, meaning from the presidency, down to the county. But here, we are in a country whereby you may be a Jubilee member or even a Jubilee MCA, but you cannot even express the Jubilee manifesto down to the grassroots.
Well, they don't.
So how will that translate into electing someone whom you don't know, but you just know the policy of that person? It cannot work.
Many times, Al-Talala,
Yes.
people do not even know what their party manifesto is all about.
Thank you.
And so even to expect them, for example, to just articulate it is a tall order in the first instance.
Yes.
Because then you don't know where the manifesto is. Like now, for example, Jubilee, what manifesto of Jubilee are we even following? You know, after the merger, especially between URP and TNA, and also ANC. I mean, you are a member of ANC.
Jubinasa.
Is it Jubinasa?
It's now Jubinasa.
No, I'm saying about NASA. ANC is a member of NASA. But at some point...
NASA never joined Jubilee. It is ODM that joined Jubilee.
All of you guys were
No,
dragged
let's be factual. ANC never joined Jubilee.
Wanaroka. Ukisikia sasa kuna pesa wanagawana huko.
Saizi si wanagawana ile pesa the 6 billion.
Yeah, that one.
ANC inapata baada ya ANC kulia na kusema ati kwamba tumechengwa na baba.
No, kulia is a wrong one. We were demanding for our rightful share. Not kulia. We were demanding for our rightful share.
Nekatieko kidogo.
Lakini so how come your rightful share is coming through ODM?
Okay, you know,
because ODM is the one who sort of negotiated.
Or NASA is
not
ODM.
negotiated.
Well,
that is not
we know from from the books, books don't lie.
Yes.
The books were very clear that the political parties fund was divided between ODM and Jubilee. Then the NASA children started crying that our Baba, meaning now ODM, has taken everything. And then I think it was last week.
You know, ODM never went to the polls as ODM. ODM went to the polls as NASA.
So who was the money
That's why
given?
we supported Raila for president. So the money was not
But
for ODM, it was for NASA.
But there was no coalition called NASA. You know that.
I know, but why did we support Raila? We supported him as the NASA presidential candidate.
So then he represented
So we had a right.
Yes, so he represented
Oh, so he had the rights ya kwenda kubeba pesa.
Yes, as our team leader, was right. But now when you come with the money, you don't pocket all of it. You share.
Ukuli peke yako.
Ukuli peke yako.
Hii maisha ni ngumu. Aya. President Uhuru Kenyatta is in the UK. Amerudi, yeah?
With some goodies. Goodies. Nasikia
Ngapi?
Enda kuomba tena huko mimi.
Amamba ngapi?
Leo ni grand.
Wana nasumbua jana.
Sijui, unajua anaweza kuwa anatudanganya anasema ni grand lakini inaweza kuwa ni load.
So amekuja na pesa ngapi?
Hatujui lakini nasikia kwa amekuja na bag ya goodies.
Nilisikia 20 billion. Nikaona jamaa mwingine Twitter amesema we are sorted for 10 days.
Yes.
I don't know what else. And you keep wondering, Ekuru, is you've worked in international level of politics.
Yes.
You've negotiated with governments. You've helped form policies around governments. And I mean, the cost of foreign trips and all these things is not something that can be ignored. I remember when the Auditor General flagged it. Even at some point in his in Uhuru's first term and part of the second term, he flagged him as a president who is never in the country. He's always moving around. And the cost of this was running into billions of taxpayers' money. And when you look back, you ask yourself, what do we reap from this? What is the net for mwananchi? What do you gain from this? Because unasikia, there's a time alienda, ilikuwa inaitwa Switzerland, where these guys kept money offshore.
Switzerland.
That's Switzerland. Huh? He went there and he told us the way trillions and trillions of money that had been stuffed there during Moi's regime was going to be released into the economy. Several decades down the line, or almost a decade down the line, several years down the line, we've not seen this happening. We've not seen the money trickling down to the country. What benefit do we reap as a country from these foreign trips? Money, personal?
Nothing. I mean, in fact, the only implication for us as Kenyans is to pay more for these people. Because if you look at the foreign trips taken by the president, many times it's a lot of joyriders. I mean, they carry almost the entire plane is full of guys of government. And when you put a value to it, what actually is it that they are going actually to negotiate for us? You see, these foreign trips should mean something to the taxpayer.
Yes.
That yes, the president has gone, he has negotiated, say, a loan or a grant. Yeah? And that grant is now reflecting directly into the economy or to improving people's lives. But it's not the case. We don't see this. I mean, we've gone to China how many times? All we do is just borrow and borrow and borrow. The only thing that China, I think, is restrained is because Kenya is a serious country compared to others. Otherwise, it will have taken over Kenya a long time ago. You know? You've got to be also, Zambia, for example, they have taken as part of Zambia. Kulikuwa na pia Chinese policemen. Imagine in Zambia.
Chinese police.
Ni vile tu yani Kenya is I mean, it, on its own right, is a very serious country. So China may not even try to do that. But otherwise, honestly, will have been taken over. So this foreign trips for me is just an unnecessary expense. And it's part of the mizigo tunataka kupunguzia wa Kenya.
All right, Auditor.
Personally, I have no problem with foreign trips because naturally, Kenya is not an island. Kenya must exist within the community of nations. But what we need to ask ourselves as Kenyans, as Mheshimiwa puts it, is what is the value attached to these trips? Then number two, assuming even the president has gone out and come with grants or even loans, the second question that should come in is, how are these loans being utilized? Because remember, any loan or even a grant is public money where it came from.
It is.
So there should be some form of accountability. So you will realize that whenever the president goes out and comes with money, for example, I was seeing like, I think the 20 billion is meant for some road project somewhere. How is this money being utilized? Then there comes, you've talked about the Auditor General's report. Personally, I have a lot of issues with these Auditor General reports because number one, how often do we get these reports? Because you'll realize, for example, now we are in 2021. The latest Auditor General report is talking about 2018, 2019. The Katiba talks about, even when you talk about this revenue sharing, we are supposed to be talking about the most recent audited accounts. So can we talk of, if we are talking of a budget of 3 trillion today, and we are budgeting with the accounts of 2018, 2019, are we recent? That's number one.
Okay.
Then number two, why are we not recent? Look at the Auditor General's office. Is it well staffed? Does it have enough personnel so that we do the most recent? Because if you are in 2021, we should be talking about accounts of 2019, 2020. Am I right?
Yes.
2019, 2020. We should not be talking about 2018, 2019. So our problems, first of all, with auditing comes with the issue of understaffing at the office of the Auditor General.
But you know,
that's a big issue.
You know, that's deliberate. And see, it's deliberate in the sense that the government, which is number one thief of public money, does not want a timely audit report.
Yes.
Yeah. And even when the auditor does, by the way, the auditor does even with the little resources that he has, he does a fantastic job because the auditor spends about 6 months basically asking you bitok, wewe ulisema utajengea watu sijui barabara ama sijui ulisema utajenga hospitali,
iko wapi
hiyo pesa iko wapi? And it takes like 6 months basically persuading you, kukubembeleza, toa receipts or toa documents. By the time they do, and you see, the number one enemy of Kenya today in terms of stealing of money is our representatives. Because once the auditor completes his report, which normally takes about 6 months to do. The moment they do this report, they publish the report. Members of parliament, by constitution, are required actually to debate that audit report and approve it. And then that becomes the basis of expenditure in the future or allocating funds. They don't do it. Right now, I think we are 5 years behind in terms of the audit.
Yes.
So we are not able to see the real picture. And if you read the Auditor General report today, we talk, all counties of Kenya are thieves in equal measure.
Where is Sugu?
All departments of government are thieves in equal measure, including the office of the president. Ofisi ya rais hajatoa hesabu kamili ya pesa. Imagine. Na huyu ndio mtu anafaa kuambia county X, wewe mbona hujatoa hii hesabu kamili ya pesa? You know? So in this, let me tell you, I keep saying Kenya is a very rich country.
Very rich.
If only we can use our resources properly and address the problems of Kenyans. There is no reason why, for example, as you said earlier, that girl who scored 401 points should repeat.
No reason.
You know why she's repeating? Because we have since commercialized public education. You know, we have killed public institutions. We have killed hospitals. You know, me, I remember when I was going to campus way back in 1993. I went to a clinic, a dispensary, just by my village. And I did my full medical report from a dispensary. Leo hii, ebu jaribu hata aspirin. Utapata. No. You must buy. So that's why for me, it saddens me that almost 60 years plus since we gained independence, at a girl who scores 401 points should actually repeat. In fact, huyo msichana bitoka tunafaa tumtafute, tuhakikisha kwamba ameenda shule, class hapo tutamchangia.
Tutachanga, lakini tayari ameshalipiwa fees na governor wa Lamu. Maybe you can take also to say second term ni sisi.
Second term ni sisi class.
Tunamlipia fees. Haya. Kwenye sinema tena ya dunia hii ya Kenya inasemekana ya kwamba kulikuwa na 6 million in cash kwa ofisi za Judges Mchelule na aitwaje jamaa mwingine Chitembo. And they did the search when they were arresting these guys. Walifanya search wakasema sawa, tumetafuta hakuna kakitu, wakasign karatasi wakasema hakuna pesa wamepata, na wakashika wa majamaa for 2 hours wakaachilia, kaambia wazee endeni nyumbani. Ni sawa. So jana wamesema the 6 million
vipindire
akia nani alikuwa kwa ofisi. What do you make of this? I think Kenya is a movie zone.
You know, Bitok, we analyzed this situation, I think, last Saturday with Mololo on Radio Jambo. And we said that you need to look at the sequence of events leading up to, for example, the attack on the judiciary and the specific judges. Not to belabor Kenyans, but let's go back to 2017. The nullification of President Uhuru's election. 1st September 2017. Uhuru, after the nullification, he actually on that same day held a rally somewhere in Eastlands, and he threatened
Burma.
And he threatened the judiciary. He said, we shall revisit. Unajua kwa Kiswahili nikisema ngoja utaniona.
Takufungia shule.
Ngoja wewe utaniona.
Funga shule na wewe.
No. So it was a threat. Then the judiciary was immediately almost starved of budgetary allocation funds. So they are not able to actually operate effectively as it is required by law and the constitution. Then, number 3, the presidency or the executive started ignoring court orders on a number of issues. Okay? Then Justice Maraga, David Maraga, then emeritus, called on the president, told the president, Mr. President, after trying many times to meet with him, as the head of the judiciary.
Another president. He's an equal president.
The head of the executive.
Trying to meet the head of the executive and say, listen, you know, the constitution of Kenya is very clear. There are 3 arms of government. The legislature, judiciary, and the executive. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with the 3 heads meeting. Because we know Uhuru has been meeting Justin Muturi. Almost for his first term and now second term. So Maraga tried to meet him and to tell him what the problems of the judiciary are. Including advising him, by the parliament has slept on its job. It needs to pass the law on gender equality. Rais akakataa. What did Maraga do? He did a public letter telling the president, as by law, by constitution, you must now dissolve what? Parliament. Rais aka-ignore yo maneno. Then, fast forward, BBI ikakuja. Sisi tukaenda kotini. kama wanachama wa Third Way na others kana David Ndii and the rest. Tukaambia mahakama hii BBI ni ukora. First of all, Wakenya hata hawakutaka hii some of these mabadiliko, for example it is 60 constituencies sijui nini. Yani we are increasing number of represent to about 500,000 plus. Unaona? Wakati the president, I mean the High Court nullified the BBI and called it unconstitutional, there was no public participation, there was no this and that, president aka-ignore. Then there is a court order, Bitok, and this is what Kenyans must remember. There is a specific court order barring both IEBC or anybody from preparing for a referendum.
Yeah, there is.
But I think 3 weeks ago,
they advertised for a tender.
Not even that, before they advertised. Is it a coincidence that President Uhuru Kenyatta, with his political brother Amolo Odinga, started talking about that referendum ni lazima? Then kidogo, IEBC is advertising for the referendum material. No. Yeah. Then the 5 bench judges of the High Court who actually nullified the BBI, some of them were among the people supposed to be elevated to the Court of Appeal. And the president deliberately left them. Justice Ngugi, akina Wamuchomba, and the others. Weldon Korir, and a couple of them. No. Serious guys. Nani Odunga, Justice Odunga. Very serious judges and academics. So, the attack on the judiciary is deliberate. And now this thing of the 2 judges, coming to the issue of the 2 judges, Justice Muchelule and Chitembwe. Like you rightfully pointed out. So all of a sudden, pesa imepatikana. And when they, but then let me tell you, let's even invoke our common sense. Yes. Let's invoke our common sense. Mimi hata assuming unanionga Bitok Swizi. In my chambers, why would I leave 6.something million? In my chambers, which is not at a private, it's a private office, but it's being accessed by, even as lawyers, we access judges in chambers, litigants sometimes even go in chambers, matters are being, actually it's a public office. It's actually a public office. So why on earth would I even keep at 6 million a bribe kwa ofisi yangu kama kweli kulikuwa na ukora yote? Hii ni utapeli tu.
Utapeli.
Unaamini hiyo maneno? Alutala. Personally, I also don't believe that line of thought of saying that 6 million has been found. Because ordinarily, in a normal search and arrest operation, if there is any evidence, it has to be found on that particular day. But from what we've seen, it was that the day these judges were arrested, nothing was found in the offices. So this coming 1 week or something thereabouts later, to me, if it is true, that is planted money. I don't believe that, because if the money was there the day they were being arrested, it was supposed to have been found on that particular day. Now, from what Wakili has said, given that sequence of events, I think it is clear that the judiciary is being revisited. That's my honest opinion. It is just being revisited. And looking at the judges that are being targeted, like Justice Muchelule, I think he has a history in terms of some of the rulings he has made. And perhaps it may be because of that. So even if there may be some traces of corruption, which have not yet been proved, but we can't rule out the issue of revisiting the judiciary.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
2 things comes in, Daktari. One of them is, also, is this a message to the appeal court? Because we have a case suspending the BBI. And 2, what does it say then about the independence of institutions? If an arm of government like DCI if Kenyans can feel like the arm, such an arm, an important arm of government is being used or being weaponized against people, being weaponized against divergent voices, what does it say about the independence of these institutions and the right of justice? And is this also a silent message to appeal?
Yeah, of course. It's a coded message actually to the Court of Appeal that if you don't, for example, do as we wish or as we want, we shall also punish you the same way we are punishing your brothers and sisters in the High Court. So yes, there's no second guessing about it. Bitok. This is a message to the Court of Appeal. Allow BBI to go on, or tutaonana na nyinyi. Tutawafinya. Na watu wanafinywa. But no, But you know, Bitok, before we go to the question of the independence of the judiciary or institutions, we also now need to begin to interrogate the leaders in those institutions. You know, to be honest with you, and this is not to criticize Justice Martha Koome, she has released a few statements relating to the judiciary. But
actually amesema Uhuru aachiliwe.
Those statements are so weak. They are not punchy. They should be punchier. They should be able to tell the executive, listen, leave the judiciary. It's an independent arm of government. Protected constitutionally, just like you, the executive. Unaona? Martha Koome, in her pronouncements, have come out as a very weak Chief Justice. You know? And she doesn't need to beg. I like the lingua of Justice David Maraga, the retired Chief Justice. He was very categorical. He was telling the president as it is, and it should be. So there's never been any independent offices in this country. To be honest, it's only independence on paper. The reason being, Bitok, it is when there is a choice or election of people to head this institution, it's politicized. You know, they don't put service first. They serve the appointing authority. That's why you can see people like in IEBC, for example, wanatapatapa tu hapa na pale. Instead of staying firm and saying, you know, we are constitutionally protected under Chapter 15 of the Constitution, independent commissions, you know, but they're just taking cue from the executive. Same thing with the people like DCI. You know, they should really demonstrate, give Kenyans confidence, because you cannot come today, and I hope Kinoti is watching us and listening to us. You cannot raid the judges' offices today and say, oh, there is no money, and then there are 2 weeks thereafter you manufacture now some money.
You know,
it's ridiculous.
You know, Bitok, this country of ours is full of comedy.
That's not even comedy. That's tragic. This is tragedy.
I like the way Wakili here is trying to juggle between academics and politics. The issue of the independence of our institutions is purely not an academic affair. It is a political affair. The truth of the matter is, as he puts it, the independence of our institution is on paper, but practically it is never there. Starting from how the holders of these offices are appointed is purely political, and it is never on merit. Number two, in this country, we have a phobia for independent people.
That's true.
Independent thinkers in this country, right from our political parties, they are never entertained. The other day you saw Otieda Amolo and Orengo, when they made what was perceived not to be very friendly to BBI. You saw what happened to them from the Odium backyard.
They were revisited.
So this issue of independence of our institutions is not there. Even when you look at interviews, whenever interviews are being conducted for these offices, from a Kenyan point of view, you will just see, if I were the one selecting these people for this position, this is the right person. But at the end of the day, that person whom Kenyans believe that he or she is the right person for that office will never see that office. So most of these appointments are always politically driven. And that is why once somebody is elected or nominated to that office, he can never be independent. And that's why Justice Maraga will go into history as one of the best chief justices we have ever had as a country. But that is not the script of the state or of the executive. To them, is the worst. Why? Because he was bold, he was straightforward, and he was talking his mind. So the issue of independence of our institutions, right from judiciary, even parliament. Last time you saw when we had this debate about revenue sharing at the Senate, you saw how senators were treated, including my own senator in Kakamega, Senator Cleophas Malala. You saw how they were arrested, the houses, bundled into those cars, and driven over 400 kilometers to be detained in Mumias.
As if there is no courthouse in Kakamega.
Yes, just because his position about that revenue sharing formula was not going in tandem with what the state wanted. So the issue of independence of our institutions is not there. And that is one thing we as Kenyans must be frank and say it as it is. Our institutions must be allowed
Independent.
to operate
But,
independently.
but you see, Altolale,
Yes.
there is the other side of that argument.
Yes.
Yes, we can blame say that all institutions are not independent. The executive is interfering.
Yes.
Let's rest that argument.
Yeah.
And say, fine, we agree.
Yes.
Let's come to the people who are actually heading these institutions.
Yes.
What is wrong with them? Why can't they just do the work they're supposed to do independently? You see, you can be handed over an independent institution, constitutionally protected by law. But if you are not independent yourself, if you're not a person of integrity, if you're not the same person who says, I have to serve the people of Kenya, not the president. The president only appointed me because that's what the law requires of him. But it is up to me, the doer of that job, to do the right thing for Kenyans. So we can blame. We can say independence of these institutions is on paper, the executive appoints them, kuna ukabila, lakini wewe ukipatiwa kazi kama Bitok, kama Alutalala, how are you going to execute that job? So we must also now focus and shine the spotlight on the people who head these institutions, be it the judiciary, the legislature, DCI, or the police, whoever it is. How are you serving Kenyans? So you must also take personal responsibility.
You know, Wakili, we've been with you in the civil society movement. I know of guys who have been very vocal in the civil society. But once these guys, some of them were appointed to several government
Especially
positions.
after 2 or 3.
Yes. You not even imagine this is the same guy we were with in the streets, advocating for justice,
Yes.
transparency, accountability, and human dignity. So this issue of independence and integrity is actually a personal decision. It is actually a personal conviction.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because most of these guys do these things to get a name.
Yeah.
Once they have the name, they are able to access the positions.
Yeah.
Once they have the positions, their interest changes now to preserving the positions and doing what will keep them in those positions the longest period they can imagine. That's the truth of the matter.
But and you see, Alutalala, that's why one of my celebrations this year,
Yes.
Bitok, even as I celebrate my birthday today, is the decision by the 5 bench judges that Mr. Kenyatta, Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, and they distinguished him from the presidency.
Yes.
They said, yes, you cannot hide behind the presidency anymore. You know, you made a personal decision to expend taxpayers' money.
Yes.
And you know why? Because the president himself argued in court through his lawyers that, this was not a personal decision. And then the judges said, okay.
Yeah, he actually had his own lawyers.
Yes.
Yes.
And, the judges said, okay, fair enough. If it's not a personal, if it's a governmental decision. No, he said, I sponsored the BBI as a private citizen.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you sponsored BBI as a private citizen, then how come then you use the presidency to access our taxpayers' money?
Yes.
And that's why the judges said, Jamaa alijitega
that-
mwenyewe.
yeah.
That's why the judges said, okay, Mr. Kenyatta, the private citizen you are, then you can actually be sued
As a person.
for spending taxpayers' money.
Yes.
And it brings us to this point we are talking about of now individual responsibility.
Yes.
What is your personal and individual responsibility when you are holding that public office? Yes. People can no longer hide behind the institution and say, I'm in DCI, I'm in the legislature, I'm in the judiciary.
Yeah.
Your own actions,
I remember
the decisions you make as an individual must have
be.
consequences.
Yeah, I remember in 2 or 3, there was a judge who ruled in some case and said, any public official who obeys unlawful orders shall be personally held responsible. And I think that is what needs to be put into action. Because now you see a situation like you are heading a department, you are given verbal instructions, like what we saw during that during those investigations about KEMSA. You saw the KEMSA CEO saying he was called, he was being sent text messages to give those tenders.
Yes.
Now, if you are a CEO of a public institution and you are called by someone in high offices to do something that you know is actually illegal,
Yes.
and you do it, I think when time for reckoning comes, you have no reason to keep on referring to that person.
Absolutely.
You must be held personally responsible for your action and misactions.
And Bitok, let's just call out what it is. I think tuko hii nchi tuna ujinga fulani. Na lazima tu tukubali tuna ujinga. Yeah? Wewe ni mtu mzima,
Yes.
baba wa watu, sijui bwana wa mtu, sijui nini. You are educated. You claim to be educated.
Yes.
You know? You know, the office you hold is protected constitutionally and even by law. You have got term of tenure. Nobody will take that away from you.
Yeah.
Like say, for example, someone like Chebukati. His term of tenure is protected under the constitution.
Yeah.
And then you are being told, do this and you do it. Sasa hapo nani ni mjinga? Yeah? Tuseme tu kama watu wana upumbavu, tuseme tu watu wana upumbavu. Yeah? Wewe kama umpatiwa kazi sababu ati juu ulilobby watu kabila yako, and now you are not serving Kenyans, actually you are the fool. We may not even blame the appointing authority anymore. It is you we should blame. Now let's just be, let's call a spade a spade. Kenya tuko na ujinga fulani, lazima tuzungumzie.
Haya. Kenya wako na ujinga, lazima izungumziwe. Haya. Now BBI has taken another route. We are beginning to see a parliamentary initiative, and they have started with they want the president to choose the cabinet from parliament. And they have given a notice of public participation. It seems that these guys are so determined they want to pass some of the laws to the assembly. Now, is it right, especially at the point where we have a pending case? The Court of Appeal?
Of course not. Absolutely not. And you know, let's just remind Kenyans the history of this BBI. And we have said it in this show, on this show many times, that BBI ni ukora na utapeli wa hali ya juu. The other day, I was having a very animated argument with a guy who I thought was really knowledgeable. I honestly thought the guy was very knowledgeable. And he was saying
Only to realize
bana kumbe watu tu ni wanatembea tu na makaratasi hapa. Wacha nikwambia Lutalala.
Yes.
Huyu jamaa alikuwa ananiambia ati Kenya. Kwanza mimi nimempatia kazi by the way. Nilikuwa nimempatia kazi na nataka kumlipa. Karibu hata nikatae kumlipa. Hiyo kazi alinifanyia.
No, you must pay him.
Because I paid him.
Yes.
But I was so disappointed beyond recognition. Nikauliza ati anasema ati Kenyans were fighting. If it wasn't for the handshake, Kenya was at the handshake stopped war.
Which war?
Yes, exactly the question I asked him. Who was fighting who? Just because Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga were disagreeing or fighting in their own small spaces about the election results, does that mean Kenyans were fighting? Me, I did not see any Kenyan fight the other. I personally never fought anyone, you know. But you see, this is what Kenyans are being fed, Bitok. That, BBI brought peace. It only brought peace between Uhuru and Raila. As a matter of fact, BBI has actually divided this country more than united it. If it cannot even unite the leadership of this country, how can it unite Kenyans? So, let's go to the nitty-gritties of the BBI. BBI, we were told, it is to establish what ails this country. Okay?
The 9-point agenda.
9-point agenda.
Yes.
And what we did at Third Way Alliance Kenya, we actually wrote a very long letter to Joseph Kenywa, the head of public service. And we told Kenywa, while we like the idea of leaders meeting and making amends for powers of the country, but let's not lie to Kenyans that BBI is to establish what ails this country. We listed to him about 9 reports, commission reports, reports of inquiry into various aspects that ail this country. Yes. We started actually with the current constitution. We said, if you only implement the current constitution to its letter and spirit, then Kenya will be at peace.
Because we have everything.
We have everything. We went to TJRC. This is a developmental constitution. If, for example, today you actually followed the development money up to the ward county level, up to the ward level, then there would be no reason for Kenyans to fight politically or even to struggle politically because everybody will be enjoying services.
You will not even be interested to know is the president.
I will not. Even
everything will be at the
Ata ngombe naweza kuwa rais and I will not care less. Because now I'm getting everything. Then we pointed out the TJRC, the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Report. The Bethwell Kiplagat, Ambassador Bethwell Kiplagat led commission. We said that commission established a number of wrongs that have been committed to Kenya, including the people of Wagala massacre, the people of Wagala in Wajir. That those people must now be compensated, restituted. Then we pointed out the Kriegler report on elections. We pointed out the Waki report on post-election violence, the Akiumi report, the Ouko report, the Sujinan. We listed about 9 reports and we said, this, if you only
Implement.
remove these reports from the shelves to stop gathering dust and implement them, then Kenya will be at peace. Hii story ya BBI ni utapeli na ni ujinga. Because, first of all, it's a clawback on constitutional gains. When we went around the country in 2010, and 2009 to 2010, up to the new constitution, I remember I traveled this country as the CEO of the committee of experts then, asking Kenyans, what exactly do you want? What kind of governance do you want? And one of the things that Kenyans said emphatically, we do not want a mix of politics in government. Let politicians be politicians.
Yes.
History ya kuwa na ministers, assistant ministers, ambaye elected members of parliament serving in the cabinet is a conflict of interest. Because remember, Bitok, one of the responsibilities of elected representatives is to oversight government.
Yeah.
So how do you oversight yourself?
You can't.
You can't oversight yourself.
Yeah.
And that's why Kenyans said, please give us professionals to head our cabinets, our departments of government. Period. And that's why Kenyans said, cabinet secretaries and PSs should be elected outside parliament. So we are going against that. And that's what BBI is trying to do. In fact, BBI is a confusion. It's a total mess. You don't even know. I mean, you know, they started with boardroom conversation.
Yeah.
Then wakasema sijui and I remember at that time, Bitok, you remember when I was selling the Punguza Mizigo Bill 2019? Yeah. I went to 29 county assemblies. And one of the questions I kept on asking Kenyans in these 29 county assemblies, did you guys participate in BBI? They said no. Yeah. We heard they came. Wanaenda sijui hoteli fulani. In fact, there's a guy who gave us a very interesting story. I think it was was it Homa Bay or Kisumu? He told, I was going to have tea with my friend in some 5-star hotel. Then I bumped into the BBI guys. And he tried to go into the BBI boardroom. He was told, no, you're not invited. Yes. So it was a private session. BBI was a private business.
It was not public participation.
It was not public participation. That's why the judges said there's no public participation. Wakaanza kuchange tune. Wakasema sijui tuende bunge. There is only 2 ways you can amend the constitution of Kenya, Bitok. Either through parliamentary initiative or popular initiative. Article 256 or Article 257. Now, which process did BBI follow? We don't know. And I'll leave it at that.
Haya.
So
wakipitisha na bunge?
Hii ni bahati nasibu tu.
Wakipitisha na bunge?
Now, you see, first of all, that's already even contempt of court. We are waiting for the court to rule, I think, to give a judgment on the 20th of August. So why not wait?
Now, actually, whatever is happening, you know, there is this famous phrase that is said, kwamba kusafisha, yani ati mtu amekuwa mweupe, ati tumemsafisha. You see, you cannot sanitize a process that started fraudulently. Because if you were to go back to the origin of BBI, what is it? BBI is a product of the handshake. What was the handshake? The handshake was actually something that came up after Raila Odinga refused to go for a second round of the election.
Yes.
And went to Uhuru Park and declared himself the people's president.
Even
not the president of Kenya.
He did not
but
just
the
declare.
people's president.
He was sworn.
He was sworn in. Then what followed? The chief author, the guy who led the oath taking, Miguna, was kicked out of the country.
Double M.
Kajwang, the lawyer who helped Miguna
was
carry
arrested.
the Bible, was arrested. Now, after that drama...
Was arrested for carrying the Bible.
Yes, for carrying the Bible.
And for giving Baba Biblio to it.
And for handing over Miguna the Bible.
Was now, for something Baba 2 guys, the one who read the oath and the one who carried the Bible, one has been kicked out, one has been arrested. But the person who took the oath now comes here, goes to Arambe House in secret, accompanied by Junet Mohammed. And then... he shakes the president's hand. Now it becomes a Kenyan issue. So to me...
It becomes war. We are fighting.
Now it becomes war. When actually nobody was fighting by then. So to me, if we are to go right as a country, number one, we must learn to accept and to follow the constitution.
Yes.
BBI, as we speak, has been stopped by the court. And the courts have said it is even illegal for IBC to do anything about
Related.
BBI. So for someone to now come up with a bill trying to proceed with BBI through Parliament is actually an illegality.
It's contempt.
It is contempt of court. So what we need to be talking about is that we need to wait for the Court of Appeal to make a decision. And one thing I know, and for sure it will happen, even if the Court of Appeal was to say BBI should continue, I'm very sure this will end up in the Supreme Court.
Yep.
So as we speak, and I think this is even what is informing the MPs, they know very well this BBI route, the normal route that it should have gone through, has hit a dead end.
But it be talk.
So they are trying to change whatever they can change through Parliament.
And you see, Alutalale, let's even just ask Kenyans, and I hope when we pick callers, they can comment on this issue.
Yeah.
Is BBI actually Kenya's priority right now?
At the moment.
At the moment.
No.
You know, we are dealing with so many problems, Bitok, including the problem of that girl who gets 401 marks
And cannot go to school.
and cannot go to school.
Including COVID.
Including this in COVID situation.
Whose numbers are always rising.
The economy. Right now, doctors are saying the percentage of spread is about 18%. Yeah? 18%. We are not vaccinating Kenyans en masse. We are not testing, en masse. We are not putting any plans to, for example, to uplift or to recover from the about 7 million small businesses that actually collapsed last year as a result of COVID. We are not talking about national debt. Right now, national debt is about 7 trillion Kenya shillings. Kumaanisha Bitok, hata mimba saizi nadaiwa.
Usijaribu kuweka.
Usijaribu. Hiyo ni deni pap 120,000.
Hiyo ni loan umewekelea. Shylock.
Unaongeza deni.
So we should be discussing about how do we address our national debt. In fact, for me, President Uhuru Kenyatta should be focusing on what really should be my legacy.
Okay.
Ukiangalia mzee Kibaki, and God bless his soul. Ukiangalia mzee Kibaki, he wasn't so controversial or invasive in the way institutions were running. But you see, when he retired happily. Unaona? Na saa hizi bado tunamkumbuka Kibaki on a number of things.
Yes.
CDF, even though it is not Kibaki actually who engineered the idea of CDF, it was engineer Murioki.
Yes.
Yeah,
of MP of
Nyandarua.
Yes.
It was him actually who came up with the idea. But because Kibaki loved Kenya, and he said, okay, this idea is good. Let's fund it. Leo hii unasikia CDF associated with Kibaki. Thika super highway.
Yes.
Yeah?
And all these
tunakumbuka Kibaki. Hii Nairobi Express ambayo watu nafikiria sijui ni ya Uhuru Kenyatta. No. Hii Nairobi Express was actually approved by the Kibaki administration at 23 billion. That time.
Now it's 3 times the cost.
Hao wamekuja
64 billion.
Double. Wameongeza 40 billion. 41 billion on top. If you tell me, for example, today, ask me, what is the economic value of this Nairobi Express Highway? What is the economic value? It may make Nairobi look nice, developed, like other developing countries, or whatever. But what is the economic value of it? Is it a priority for Kenya right now? So I will say BBI is not a priority for Kenya right now. If you are to amend this constitution, and I'm a proponent of amending the constitution, but with a view to only establishing the common good for Kenyans. If there is no common good at Lutalala, there is no way of amending this constitution. You cannot amend the constitution to say, let's accommodate some so-called big tribes or some individuals who represent certain regions. Because that's what BBI is all about. To accommodate Kalonzo Musyoka, Raila Odinga, failed politicians.
Yeah.
So why can these people even retire? To be honest, sometimes I even think myself, are we really Africans? Sometimes when we say we are customary people, African people. In traditional African society, wakati wazee wameanza kuchoka, wanaita vijana kina Lutalala, kina Bitoka, wambia sasa unajua sisi tumezeka, sasa tutakaa chini ya miti, we will give you guys all the wisdom, take care of society and community. How come in politics we cannot invoke this customary value that actually helps. Isaiah Tolala is laughing.
Talking about COVID-19. Mutai Kagwe is set to address the election at 11. I don't know what you guys expect. You know, the curfew rules lapsed last week. Or this week, early this week.
Mutai?
Yeah, so he's addressing the nation, I think, at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
What do you guys expect? And what do you think should happen?
Personally, with all due respect to our health professionals and government and everything, these protocols, in my own view, they are not helping us. Because, as Wakili puts it, it is one thing looking at COVID as a separate entity and looking at whatever we are doing as a country as a separate entity. If truly COVID was that serious, as the ministry wants to put it, then I think our leadership would not be focusing on what they are focusing on today.
Especially Morales.
Because you can't tell us COVID is
Serious.
going up, COVID is very serious, but you are the same people going to churches every Sunday and addressing mammoth crowds, going to rallies, doing all manner of things that are really going against the COVID regulations. So personally, me, what I would think, the other day I saw the UK Prime Minister saying, we cannot be under restrictions forever. If COVID was to be eliminated, we all know it is not overnight. It has been here now for 1.5 years, and it is projected to be here for another 1.5 years or 2.
Part of our life.
So it will be part of our life.
Just like HIV and AIDS.
Just like HIV and AIDS.
And other diseases.
Yeah, so I think what we need to do, we just need to open up this country. So that people can go back to their normal business. And you know the irony in this COVID thing is this. Most of the small businesses are the ones that have been affected by COVID.
Yes.
Because you look at our matatu industry. I'm a taxi guy. Our taxi industry. We are not allowed to carry more than 2 passengers in our taxis.
Can you imagine?
Matatus are not allowed to carry, they are not allowed to carry full capacity. But go to the airport. Planes are carrying full capacity.
Exactly.
Go to SGR. SGR is carrying full capacity. So is this COVID only in matatus and taxis and not in SGR?
Or in rallies.
Or in rallies.
Political rallies.
So for me, where we are now as a country, our priority actually is the economy.
Yeah.
Because what matters to any ordinary Kenyan is how he or she is going to put food on the table. So to me, even as the CS comes with his address, personally, I will propose that we open up the country, continue with the other precautions like wearing masks and everything, but the economy just has to be opened.
So, talk for me, me, I'll speak from a point of practicality. There are many Kenyans today who cannot put food on the table, who cannot feed their families because of these COVID restrictions. I know a lot of friends in the tourism industry, the transport industry, who have actually had to close. I even know, even from a legal perspective, even from us lawyers, practicing advocates, I know many lawyers who have also closed their offices, because of this COVID. I think we should open the country, but with 2 cautions, or with a caution. Number 1, Kenyans must be responsible. I see people even in social places. The moment watu wanaanza kukamata, wanaanza kurelax. Kenyans must take responsibility that COVID is real and it's killing people, especially people with pre-existing conditions.
But Wakili, as you say about Kenyans, kindly add Kenyans starting from the leadership.
Absolutely. I agree. I stand corrected. Political leadership in this country must begin to shape, to lead by example. So let's open the country. But Kenyans, please know that COVID is real and it has killed millions and millions of people. Secondly, we want to see government, as we open the country, we want to see government test people en masse. let's do mass testing, let's do mass vaccination. Because kama saizi bitoka, let's just be very frank. We are talking of development money being allocated to all these 47 counties.
Yeah.
What development activities are going on now with the restrictions even in COVID? So let's reroute that money into buying vaccines for each and every Kenyan. The moment we know that everybody is been vaccinated, and it's possible to vaccinate everyone and to mass test everyone, then we are even able to plan on how to manage COVID. There's no point of keeping us money for building big infrastructure projects when the population is dying or is being faced with the risk of catching COVID. Nani atatembea kwa hizo mabarabara? Yeah.
So tufungue ama ikafunguliwe?
Funguliwe.
Haya. Unasikia Mutai inyo wacho. Wananchi wamesema fungueni kitu. Fungueni kitu. Haya, mmevunja NASA. NASA mmejinaza. Mtego imewageukia. ODM jana imetoka, ANC ilishatoka, Wiper, ANC haijatoka. Wiper imetoka na ODM.
Even ANC wanasema Mudavadi said that NASA is dead.
But now ODM, but he says NASA is dead, it's not living.
You know what
He's not living. He's saying NASA is dead.
He said it himself.
You know what Bitok is trying to do? Is a narrative I've seen in many media houses.
Which is
of trying to say trying to downplay what Mudavadi and ANC is doing.
No, I've not downplayed. I've seen mentioned those guys who have left.
So I'm just saying. You see,
but I'll tell you, in his own words, he said that NASA is dead.
Yeah. But he has not left. What is he still doing?
To that. If we talk about NASA, out of the 4 principles, the first person who came out...
5 principles. We have this other guy of Gambut, Plogom. There's a Gruta.
Okay, let's put it
As
even at 5.
Part of NASA.
Yeah.
Now, if we were to talk of those 5 guys, the first person who came out publicly and said NASA is dead was Musalia Mudavadi.
Yes, it's true.
That is on record. Number 2, recently, when these guys met, it is actually Mudavadi who said NASA cannot be revived because of trust issues. They can no longer trust each other. Kalonzo followed suit. Now, 1 week ago, we as ANC, our parliamentary group met and made a resolution that they were officially going out of NASA. Now, Wiper followed 3 days ago. So what is now happening to our ODM brothers is that they don't want this thing to be tagged as dead. ODM has been left by the other partners. And that's why yesterday they came out saying they are now leaving. It is actually ANC and Wiper that left NASA.
Okay.
Now ODM has followed suit. So that has to come out.
But Al-Talale,
yes.
Kwani how many times will ODM leave NASA? See, ODM left NASA a long time ago and it joined Jubilee.
That's the question.
Yeah. So this thing of saying
that we are
leaving and going
that is another comment.
Naenda. Sika bibi anasema anaenda na baada ya jikoni anapika chai.
So anaenda
lakini anaingia kwa mlango ya nyuma.
Anaingia jikoni. Lakini NASA
hizi ni vitisho tu Bitok. Vipindire as Sonko will say. Masinemareza
Nairobi. So what will happen now? So you guys, because the same thing happened you remember COD. You remember there was something called COD at that time. And the same drama they are subjecting us to, they also did it with COD. Then again they ended up all of them in NASA. Ni sinema ingine mnaanza kuingia oka.
Nafikiri sasa tuite hii nafikiri ni seasons. Tuko sije episode ya ngapi sasa? Tulianza na episode ya
COD.
Before COD there was something else. I think before COD there was something else. So episode 1, okay, let's say episode 1 was COD. then episode 2
NASA, and they did the same thing. Tumetoka COD. COD is dead. Nene. Then wow, the same guy show up again, all of them in NASA.
Okay, for
us, ni bibi anatereza kutoka
na naingia mlango jikoni kuleta chai.
For us in ANC and from where Musalia Mudavadi sits, NASA is normal and ANC is no longer a member of NASA. What we are focused on as a party is now to go out and talk to Kenyans about Musalia Mudavadi presidency. That is our focus for now. So what is now happening is that...
but how many times is he going to threaten?
is
Or now is serious this time.
now tethering is your word
Threatening.
and threatening is your word. But
Nasikia
for me,
mtaniona leo.
as an ANC member and as an aspirant on ANC party,
Yeah.
and as a strong believer in Musalia Mudavadi, I believe that this time round we are going to the presidency. And for your information, just as what Wakili mentioned here about Kibaki, many Kenyans believe in people who talk too much. But the truth of the matter is, and history has taught us, that most of these people who talk too much never perform. That's why you'll remember Kibaki, who never talked too much, but he has something to show when he has gone out. So what we are saying is, Mudavadi is one person who has been very keen on what he says and what he does. Okay. In 2002, and Wakili mentioned here some few minutes ago, when Moi decided that it was Uhuru who was going to be successor, all the other guys, including Raila Odinga, left. It is only Musalia Mudavadi who said, because I believed kwamba we are in KANU, and as KANU we must have a candidate, I'll stand with Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yeah.
He did it. In 2007, when Raila came up with I think it was COD, the COD thing, Musalia Mudavadi insisted that they go for a presidential nomination, which Raila objected. Now, they discussed and agreed to do everything through consensus. So, when the alliance chose Raila as a presidential candidate, Musalia stood with him and he supported him. Now, in 2017, when they came up with NASA, actually, the whole team supported Raila Odinga for president. So, if you ask me, and remember in 2002 when Musalia stood with Uhuru, he actually lost his seat in Sabatia as MP because of that decision.
That's true.
Because the wave in Western was Moi must go. So anything related to Moi was going.
Yes.
So Musalia actually...
And he was then the vice president for like 3 months.
But he was swept off. So...
And the man come and be your next president.
Yes. So,
and that's the problem I have
so
with
what we are
Mudavadi.
saying is, it is now time to move on.
No, but I also think, Alutalala, let's also be honest.
Yes.
I think Musalia needs to come out, he needs to be his own man. Because you see, it is Musalia Mudavadi actually who came up with the NASA.
Yes.
Yeah? Then Raila kamnyanganya. Raila became now the NASA kingpin. Yet it is actually Musalia's brainchild. NASA was Musalia's brainchild.
It is good you appreciate that
Yes.
it was his brainchild.
Yes,
That
I
is
do.
number one.
I do. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Why is he killing his own baby? He should now say, me, nyi kwendeni, kwanza nyi mlikuja na siasa zenu za NASA mwacheni hizi episode. In fact, I want to thank I want to thank Marcus Hillary. He has just reminded us the political episodes in Kenya. Amesema episode 1, NAC, episode 2, code, episode 3, NASA, and Jubilee. So,
Now, you know,
so hata Musalia waache kusema ati anatoka ati NASA.
And he's getting from another coalition into another coalition.
It is his own it is his own baby. If I were him, I would say the spoilers, the rent seekers have since left NASA. Waende huko. Akae na bibi yake na NASA. I invite.
But Mr. Ekuru.
Yes.
You see, you invited me to join your party.
Yes.
Now, if I decided to join your party today, for example, and I decided to contest on your party as an MCA, and I support you for president, it doesn't mean I'm weak. I can also be president.
No, but you cannot also undermine Alutalala.
Yes.
I cannot undermine my own political party. That's why, for example, you see today, I'm being fought by people sponsored by ODM because of Punguza Mzigo in my party. They want me to leave third way. And I'm telling them, never.
Yes.
This is my own baby. I actually created it. I supported it.
You can't leave it.
And I cannot leave it. Mpende musipende. You can come with all your rent-seeking manenos as you want. So for me, my advice to Mudavadi is this. Don't let NASA go with these people. In fact, for me, I think NASA was a good idea. I remember Musalia Mudavadi campaigning in 2017 saying, NASA wow, NASA hawa.
He was actually the chief campaign manager for the
for NASA, for the coalition.
Yes.
So why abandon it? Because I think NASA is even a very nice lingua. Yeah. NASA wezi.
NASA
wezi.
NASA.
Okay, whichever, you know, sometimes there is nothing
NASA Jubilee.
special about Actually, sometimes-
You see,
Actually,
the Talala, you see, I love the way, I love the kind of discussion that ANC guys have there for the party leader, Musalia Mudavadi. Every other ANC member you meet has a lot of things to say about Mudavadi. But I don't think it gets into Mudavadi's head to an extent that he decides to do something about it. Like we can have all this lingo around him, very good English. Oh, Mudavadi is a gentleman. Oh, Musalia Mudavadi is this. He formed this, he started this. But what is he doing about it? You can say the gentleman doesn't pick, like, but Kibaki worked to be president. This guy doesn't seem to be doing any work to be a president. He's running away from one coalition. He left CORD.
You know what?
He went to NASA. He's leaving NASA into Hawker. What's the difference?
There's our Nyonyi Willy saying, at that act of Musalia Mudavadi leaving NASA to Raila is an act of selflessness of a leader. But you see, Raila used NASA even when he was going to be sworn in as the people's president. Imagine he abandoned his core principles. Nasikia walikuwa naambiwa ati ngojeni nitawapigia na simu kutoka Nigeria.
Yes. One thing you need to know in this world, not Kenya, is that whatever goes round always comes round. You may call Musalia whatever name you may think, but the truth of the matter is selflessness is a virtue. And also, being ready to stand with people you believe in is also a good thing. But now, given the nature of our Kenyan politics, I think you will realize that dishonesty is a hallmark in our politics. And that is why we are saying, as ANC, we have actually supported Musalia Mudavadi. We have actually supported Raila for the longest time ever. And for your information, and you talked about numbers and books, if you are to go to statistics, the Luya community, where Musalia Mudavadi comes from, has more votes than the Luo community where Raila comes from.
That's true.
And we've supported him all along with our votes. So we are not bitter, and we are not complaining about supporting him, because as at that time we believed in him, and we believed that he was the right candidate at that time. But now what we are saying is, just as you said about we being Africans and going back to our customs, we truly believe that given the scenario and the political dynamics as they are in the country now, I personally don't believe Raila can make president in 2022.
No, you won't. That one I agree.
So what we are saying is, even if you are a football coach and you have several players to choose from, you've chosen a specific player for your striking force 2-3 times, and he has not scored. I think it will be foolish to put him for the fourth time. So it is either you sell him to another team
or transfer,
or put him to free transfer to another club. So what we are saying is we are now ready to support Musalia Mudavadi for president. And it's not just because he has supported Raila. It is because we believe he has what it takes to be president. And on your question about what is Mudavadi doing to realize the good ideas that he has, like what Wakila said, he was the brainchild behind NASA. If you have been keen, you will realize that Musalia Mudavadi of 2021, where we are today,
it's different.
Is not the same Musalia Mudavadi of 2012, for example.
Okay.
Musalia Mudavadi is someone who is now mature. He is now more focused. And even if you are to look at how he's doing his things currently, is a presidential material. And I want to tell you this thing for free. In the 2022 election, the presidential race is between William Ruto and Musalia Mudavadi, not Raila Odinga.
But let me ask Bitok a question that we've also been raising in our show on Saturday, Mazungumzo Wasiwazi with Mololo.
Yes.
You know, it really shocks me and surprises me when fairly young fellows like Alutalala here will be singing the tune of another person. when will our generation actually take up leadership? Because you see, me, I would rather, like now, Alutalala says he wants to be MC, and I really wish him very well. And I would like to vote for him if I was a voter in Kitisuru. Alutalala, when can we change the narrative from the Musalia, Raila, Ruto to ourselves? Because we also have capability to lead this country. We have ideas. So part of the problem in this country, we have refused to change. We are stagnated in the same individuals over the years. When these individuals have even tried them in government, Musalia was a minister, finance minister. He's been minister of Home Affairs at some point, deputy president, all that. So what magic are we expecting from these fellows in 2022 when all this time really round, we can't even tick the box of what they have actually achieved?
Now, you
in
know,
positions
Akili, Akili, okay, personally, the way I do my politics, I always like being very truthful to myself. We may all wish to be president. Everyone will wish to be president.
Maybe not everyone.
Myself. Even you. So you want to be president.
I want to be president.
But now, there is the practicality of life. Today, I, as Altalala, I cannot wake up and say, because I'm young, I want to be president. In my village where I come from, there is a saying that says that you can only carry as much that you can. So me, I'm going for MCA because I believe that is where
majipima kuona hiyo.
So imagining that I'll just wake up because I'm younger than Mudavadi and say now I'm going for the presidency because I'm young is actually just a dream. And to me that one is not even a valid dream because I cannot even traverse Nairobi alone to ask for votes. That's why I'm going for the small ward of Kitusuru. So, and number two, to sit here and imagine that we will wish away this group of Raila, Mudavadi, Kalonzo, Ruto, Uhuru, and overnight replace them with Bitok, Altalala, and Ekuru is also another pipe dream. These people are still here. They are still alive. They have a following. They have the resources. And they'll always be there, whether in active politics or not active politics. So what we need to do, we need to ask ourselves, for example, we are headed into 2022 elections. As you said earlier, what is our priority as a country? Then, once we identify our priority as a country going into 2022 elections, we ask ourselves, of all these guys, some of them who have been there, and some of them who are coming freshers like Alfred Mutua, like I saw, there are many guys coming.
Kigame.
Yes, like yourself, the young guys. Who is able to do what we want to be done by the office of the president? But to imagine that we shall sweep them off at once and replace them with the young guys, to me, is not my line of thinking. So for me, I strongly believe that for you, first of all, to be a president, you must have been there. That's a fact. You cannot tell me that someone who has not even managed a ward, for example, with 10 million budget, is going to raise, to manage a 3 trillion budget as president. So for me, my point is, from those guys who are already there and who have declared,
we look for the lesser evil.
Look for the lesser evil, if that is the right one. And
So,
to me,
so they are all evil, but
of course, we are not dealing with saints. We are not dealing with saints. We are dealing with humans.
so Altalala,
Yes.
me my
That
view
was
is
scare mwananchi.
maybe before okay.
Ingia jambo, bunga la mwenye nchi jambo.
Hey, hello, Bitok.
Yes sir, mambo.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, how are you?
Maxwell here.
Maxwell, mambo.
Poa sana. Say,
Data habari.
two great gentlemen there. Nzuri sana.
I appreciate, okay?
Thanks, Maxwell.
Now, let me shortly just say this.
Yeah.
First of all, on handshake,
Yeah.
that was conmanship from the beginning.
Yeah.
There are reports all over the place, and I believe Kenyan politics, they don't happen by chance. There's always a structure, there's a formula they follow. By the time Raila Odinga decided not to run, I believe it was structured so that it can facilitate something it can facilitate him bargaining for something. Huyu jamani mjanja sana na is clever than the rest of the bodies in the former NASA thing. Ni mtu anaona mbele kushinda hao wengine.
Sasa ukiona sasa ni kama ameona nini?
Raila knew that he would want to take advantage of the Uhuru factor, which he believes he has the system, whatever they call the deep state, whatever. That is why even the brother would say, that is the only thing we never had. So these things are structured, and Raila knew what he wanted to do. Number two, you remember at some point when William Ruto was being interviewed, I think by KTN, and he said, Raila in the first place called me 4 times. I'm forced to believe that was true. Because Raila always has a backup. Call William Ruto, we see how we can do so that we can make sure Uhuru doesn't perform in this second term. But when William Ruto said, I expect my boss, you can talk to him, he decided to go with another narrative. And these two gentlemen, because they have interest, they are the richest men in this country, even in Africa. They have their interest. Who will they trust on their interest? Because the Kenyatta genealogy is ending with Uhuru in regard to leadership. Unless they have BBI to form a Gathoni to something constituency for the son of Uhuru Kenyatta to be an MP. So
Gathoni Kenya.
The national election. Number two, Dr. Ekuru Aukot said, he talked about the youth. The system we have now cannot support them. Why? Because of money. The money that is being used in elections is too much. Not any other person can be able to do this. Like me, if I say I want to be the president, where will I get Wanjigi to fund my campaign? Where will I get Ford Foundation to fund my campaign? Where will I relate with these NGOs to fund my campaign? Very hard. So where we are at the moment is young people should just stay around these arrangements, learn the system, and know how to do things. Let me tell you.
We learn the conmanship.
William Ruto being within the system, when he said mimi David President and mimi ujinga, many people believe it's so. But hiyo ujinga ndio nasema, kaa hapo ndio ujue ujinga uko wapi na uerevu uko pande gani. Because these people know what they are doing. So young people, they need, the system has been formed. It is for so many years. We cannot say the system of running Kenyan government started in 1963. We only continue with the colonial system. The structure of our politics is made that way. That is why even as we stand now, I can tell you, even this gentleman who is Musalia Mudavadi's
Alutalala
partner, Alutalala. If today William Ruto does not run for president, Raila Odinga, and you put Dr. Ekuru Aukot with Musalia Mudavadi atalamba chini mapema. Number one, he doesn't appeal to anything. There is no way you can stand and just put a slogan, yangu ni economy. Ekuru Aukot has this slogan of punguza mzigo. Punguza mzigo is something that you can talk about. You can tell people what you want to do. You can tell people what you are looking at. But you think economy, what is it about? You are not telling us anything. So it means Musalia has a lot to do than any other presidential candidate. Not even Musalia Mudavadi with Abdu Badida. Abdu Badida will beat Musalia Mudavadi in the morning. And this is the bargain he doesn't have in NASA. He is afraid because he knows he doesn't have this bargain. And on the other hand, by the Ekuru Aukot, doctor.
Yes.
If we do the fixing the system, and the bottom up going together, I think we can go far. Think about that. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much, my brother Maxwell. Thank you for calling in. We also have someone from the UK. I think I missed the call. I also missed yesterday, so let me just look for him. I think he's been calling the whole of this week. I've not been fair enough. It's a good follow on the tackle, so let's see if we can find him. Atuambie. Meanwhile, Ochi Pil anasema Aukot, we need you in the race. Wacha kulala bwana. Wacha kulala. Wacha kulala Ochi.
Mwambie silali bwana.
Sawa, Jambo. How are you, sir?
Hello?
Hi, how are you? Sorry, I've been missing your calls the whole week. You well?
Yes. Oh, thank you very much, Bitok. I listened to your show for so long. I'm in UK, in London, for the last 25 years, but I go to Kenya regularly. But I don't want to waste your time. Let's go.
But you come to Kenya regularly and you don't look for us. We are also children of people.
Bitok, I started to watch your show when you only had 3,000 people, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much, my brother. Today we are big. I do appreciate.
Okay, for me, first of all, I want to say hello to Ekuru Aukot. He might remember me. I contacted him when he was in Punguza Muzigo to do with Vision Total Football Kenya, which is a vision that I have developed for our country, which is a 300 billion economy for our football, right?
I remember you very well, sir.
But I want to move away from that. That's why you keep seeing, my number coming as Vision Total Football Kenya. Besides that, I'm working on something very, very big, which is called the Lost Manifesto, and is to do with all the things that has not been done in Kenya since independence, and those things must be corrected if Kenya is to go to the right places. But for today, I want to talk about this the DCI thing and the corruption issues. Yeah.
Karibu kaka.
So this DCI thing and the corruption thing, corruption will never end in Kenya unless DCI is disbanded and Kenya forms a fit-for-purpose institution to fight corruption. For that to happen, they are not just rhetoric. That is one of the agendas in the Lost Manifesto. I actually have a total blueprint to eradicate Kenyan corruption. But now that is going to be, that is about political will and how it is going to be implemented. But the issue is now Kenyans must stop looking expecting executive and parliament to do things for them. The time has come when Kenyans must put their manifesto, what they want the leaders to implement. Now DCI as an institution to fight corruption, like I said, that is one. Now EACC cannot fight corruption, and this is by design, right? Now, EACC, how EACC come about, it is a commission. Ekuru Aukot knows that. It is a commission was envisaged in Constitution 2010 just to deal with the Chapter 6 of the Constitution, which is the leadership and integrity. But the politician used Economic Crimes Act that was in 2003, I think, during Quebec. They used that Economic Crimes Act to change the institution that was fighting corruption then as a commission. They took that mandate and they gave it to EACC, but EACC was never envisioned to fight corruption. And therefore, this new mandate that it was given, that was already with another body, I think it was called EA or something, it changed like this from Quebec's time. It is deriving its power from the Economic Crimes Act, but it does not really have a power. Even then, it did not have power. It is just a commission. Commission cannot fight corruption. That's why Australia corruption has become rampant. New Zealand decided to go different way, the way of the UK. Today, New Zealand corruption is zero. So for me, and now the issue of BBI.
Hello?
Right?
I can hear you.
Somebody just said BBI is a conmanship. This is true. Hello?
Tunakusikia, endelea.
BBI will take Kenyans nowhere. The issue in BBI, there are just too many to be used to change a constitution. You know, constitution of a country is such a serious, sacred document. We cannot just insert and remove things as we wish. Constitution of Kenya is actually perfect and one of the best in the world. There are a few issues there, but those are not the issues that are derailing the country. What is derailing the country is leadership. And the parliament, this 11th parliament, come 12th parliament, is the worst parliament we have ever had. It has actually passed so many things that are wrong. You can go to Galana Kulalu, you can go to police housing, you can go to to these health clinics, the mobile health clinics, you can go to laptop, you can go to this is the worst parliament ever. I've even written about it. So Bitok, I will not take much of your time. Just to introduce myself today.
Thank you, my brother.
My full name is
Jacob.
Vision Total Football.
Your full name is?
Is Gakonga, Gakonga. Gakonga.
Gakonga. The other name?
James.
James Gakonga.
James Gakonga, originally from Lamu, relocated to UK in 1996.
Wow. All right, my brother. You'll invite us there. Ekuru will come and hold my hand in the streets of London.
No worry.
I love Coventry.
Let the COVID go first.
I love Coventry.
You love Coventry?
Yes, I went to school to Warwick.
I know all those places. Coventry is one and a half from London. Is a great place, and it's to Birmingham. I know.
Yes.
I go to all those places. But I couldn't come. When I get to the country, I want to sit down with you and be talk.
Okay,
Sawa, bro.
no problem.
Karibu.
Well, God bless you, Bana.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate also the support that you've been giving us. We appreciate. Santa sana. There's another. We're actually getting a lot of guys from
Abroad.
from actually UK. Interestingly, because that's one place we are not really good into. But they're getting guys in UK. There's another guy again called Mondi in the UK. You called in yesterday. We have another guy called Atticus who has been calling in. They've actually invited us to go there. Nasema toeka. Tunashukuru. Haya, tukifunga supermarket watu walisema niache kuita kiosk. Fair watatoa. Hatutembeangi
There's
bila.
a question, an issue that Alutalala raised,
Yeah.
which I really want to try and persuade him to, to run away from. This issue of saying that our generation, is not ready to take over this country because of this older generation. I think this is a defeatist argument, because society, we have to believe in succession planning in any society, and we cannot mark time and saying that these fellows wako tu hapa wako sijui na pesa. Let me tell you a little one thing that I did, which is why I want to persuade you to think differently. When we promoted Punguza Mizigo Kenya, and you know it very well, people never believed we could actually move a national conversation in this country. Why? Because people said, who is Jim Muturukana? You want to pick that? Okay.
There's someone on the line. Jambo.
Yeah.
I think we'll take this as the last one.
Jambo, habari.
Salama sana, naongea na nani?
Ninaongea Munga Alusa continua na Sunguza.
Munga alita continue kutoka Coventry. Jambo.
Yes, salimia all the gentlemen, Ekuru, Aukot, na the fine gentleman from ANC.
Thanks.
Hey.
So, my question is, we've had so many ANC people come here, but according to my looking, huyu jamaa can to find and his articulation of issues. My question is, and it always disturbed me in Western Province, where it's their stronghold. Why do we have this big problem about incest and what are ANC doing about it?
Okay, swali kwako.
And another thing, apart from economy, what else? What else? That's all. Thank you very much.
Wazungu is straight to the point.
If Alutalala responds,
Please,
I'll let
I
him
think
respond.
that's the last call I was taking, so that you guys now can express.
Yeah, so I'll let Alutalala respond the question of Western. Although I think as he responds, I also want to persuade him to move away from this tribal politics of saying Western, Sisi what Western. Me, I want us to talk about Sisi wa Kenya. What my vote means in Kenya, not what my vote means from a region flani. And maybe Alutalala can respond to that. But I wanted to persuade Alutalala to think differently. That we are capable and we have capability to lead this country. We have ideas, we have the energy, we can even unite this country more than actually divide it. In fact, the older generation in this country, the people that he roots for, Mudavadi, they will never unite this country. Okay. They are actually forever dividing this country, because the moment they come in with the tag of my region, my tribe is behind me, that's already a division on its own. I want to tell Alutalala that when I started the Punguza Mizigo campaign in 2018, a lot of people laughed and say, utafika wapi, Mturukana, wewe ni kijana Mturukana, sijui nini, nomad, you have no space in this country. But listen, I believed in the idea of Punguza Mizigo. I pushed for it. I got 1.2 million Kenyans actually to endorse it, and it was confirmed by IEBC. So if you believe in an idea, I'm reminded of this man called Stan Lee, the man who invented Superman. Stan Lee one time was saying that they were doing so badly. It was a newspaper, and he was telling this story, if I can just paraphrase it, that they had almost reached the end of the road. And he knew they are closing down this newspaper. Then he rushed with this idea to his boss. And he told his boss, why don't we publish a Superman? Yeah? So his boss looked at him and laughed at him and told him, listen, Superman, you know, how can a Superman be a young person? You know, Superman is supposed to be like, you know, great people and all that. Yeah, he believed in the idea so much. Yeah. And his boss just told him, okay, after all, so we are closing down this, but this is the last publication anyway of Superman. Yeah. And guess what happened? Up to now, we're talking about Superman. So what I want to tell Al-Tallah is this. If you believe in an idea and you can actually articulate it, please don't let any fool talk you out of it. I believe in Punguza Mizigo. It didn't deter me that Okoa Kenya had tried in 2015 to change the constitution of Kenya. And it was the mighty political might of Raila Odinga and others who were pushing for it. But they didn't see the light of day. When I pushed for Punguza Mizigo, I was a new entrant in the political arena of Kenya, but I believed in the constitution, I believed in my idea, and I centralized the idea of Punguza Mizigo to solving people's problems, Kenya's problems, as I believe right now. And we were able to move this conversation. And guess what? Because of how great the Punguza Mizigo idea was, that's why the government unleashed all the ministers and the prime ministers to go into the respective county assemblies to talk down MCS into not passing the Punguza Mizigo bill. And that's why today, as we speak at Third Way Alliance Kenya, I'm being targeted because they think that I'm a spoiler for my leadership. That's why you can see those sponsored rent seekers in my party. And we all know that. So I think, Al-Talala, it's only up to us, honestly, not to believe in ourselves. But if you believe in ourselves, we can actually take over the reins of this country. We cannot be singing about same people all the time. After all,
you start singing the songs.
After all, to be honest, honestly, like even the caller said, Al-Tallah is very articulate. I would rather Al-Tallah tells me I want to run as president under ANC. And the chances are very high I might support you because, I might even drop down my own presidential campaign and say, let's supporting Al-Tallah because Al-Tallah at least ni mpya. He has good ideas. He can articulate beyond just saying economic.
Now,
hata mimi I'll give him free media interviews.
Me, I'll even be his chief campaigner.
Al-Tallah for president.
You know the story.
People's power.
This chocha. You see this chocha ya mtani.
Yes.
Lazima tukuchote.
It's very different from things on the ground.
Vitu kwa ground ni different.
Vitu kwa ground ni tofauti. We really need to be very practical. And I love what the guy from UK said. First of all, you need to articulate what you believe in. Like the way you articulated the way you believed in Punguza Mizigo. I was actually a supporter of Punguza Mizigo, and I signed.
I'm aware.
I signed for that petition.
Yes.
But if today we were talking about a Punguza Mizigo initiative that went through up to its fruitful ending and became the actual BBI that we should be now talking about, we will really be saying, actually, the young people are ready to take over this country.
I think we are ready.
There is one thing, there is a difference between, even the Bible says, faith without action is dead. So it is one thing believing in an idea. It is another thing putting that idea into action and pushing it through up to the end. You've clearly said here, your Punguza Mizigo idea was a wonderful idea. All Kenyans supported it. I believe so. Many Kenyans supported it.
They still like
But what happened? You said here it was derailed.
It is the people
by the same people you are wishing away.
It's the people you want to lead this country, Al-Talala, who actually fought Punguza Mizigo. Because why? We were changing the system to benefit them. For me, the problem in this country is not with the bottom. The problem in this country is with the top. And if you fix the top, trust me, the bottom will conform.
Now, that is another way. Every coin has two sides.
Yes.
That is one way of looking at it. But for me, the problem is the bottom. Because you said here, when you are off air, that you went to some place for a campaign. And young people were telling you, Mheshimiwa maliza, tumalizane. What was it meaning? It was meaning that they were not interested in what you are saying.
In the message.
But they were interested in how you are going to finish. And finishing is not how you are going to finish the speech. Is how you are going to leave them. Unatuacha aje. Unasia. That is the reality of our politics. Unatuacha aje. That is the reality of our politics. So what I'm saying is, Personally, I believe that the young people of this country have a role to play in our leadership.
Okay.
But it cannot come overnight. That's my point.
But see, Altalala,
We must start from somewhere. That's why, as much as you will wish that because I can articulate ANC issues well, you will even support me for president.
yes.
I'm not able.
Why not?
Tutakupea kidogo itapatikana.
Now,
Why are you
another thing-
articulating now ANC policies and you say you cannot articulate as president?
Now, there is a difference between articulating issues
You see,
in
Altalala,
Nairobi, for example.
it is your own reluctance and refusal to take challenge that is making you believe you are not able. You are actually capable of leading this country. The day, Altalala, you wake up every morning into your taxi business.
Yes.
You want to fend for your family, and not just your family. You're also taking care of the extended family, I believe,
Yes.
as we all Africans do.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
There's nothing magical about the presidency or being a president. All you need to do is believe in an idea, believe in your vision, tell your story, and you can do it. It's like saying, it's like saying, Altalala, at the risk of sounding legal now here,
Yes.
it's like saying because people commit murders, let's accept it's okay to murder anybody. Just because we are saying at this generation is there, and yet, if I read you in between the line, you're saying, okay, they are there, they are not necessarily the best for us, but see, let's just live with them. Why can't we do it? Like now, I keep challenging the young youth and women of our country. Stop telling us about the numbers that you have, that you are the majority. So what? Do something with your numbers.
Okay.
Form the next government.
That is a good challenge.
Yes.
And let me add something on it.
Nasikia
the Jubilee government
Ekuru
came-
ametengeneza sherehe bwana, tunataka kwenda sherehe. Ekuru ametengeneza sherehe, ndio right.
when the Jubilee government came into power,
Yes.
actually when they were campaigning, they campaigned on the platform of youth. Actually, they had a slogan saying, tunatoka analog,
Tunaenda
tunaingia
digital.
digital. Now, if you are to look at this government as we speak, in terms of achievements, and look at the analog government of Kenyatta, of Kibaki, even Moi,
Yes.
you know what to compare.
It's
and
nothing
contrast.
comparable.
So what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
actually our leadership is a reflection of our society. Our young people, if you look even at the formations in all these parties, where is the role of the young people?
You see,
Where is the role?
Me, I'll challenge Altalala further. Talk.
even before we talk about going-
these are very important.
In 2
discussions.
minutes, ndio tufunge.
Yeah, these are very important discussion.
Yes.
You see, Altalala, let's look at leadership as a value. Yeah? Value in a family. A value cascade downwards
Yes.
from the top, from the parents to their children.
Yes.
So that the upbringing of your children should actually tell people whether this child is properly brought up or just is a truant. No.
Yes.
So today, I look at Kenya's leadership as a value. The reason the bottom is behaving the way it is because the top cannot teach any value. Okay? And that's why for me, I prefer we fix the top. And the quickest way to fix the top is to change that leadership at the very top. I need Altalala to be in that government, we talk and the rest. And then we can sit on this table and say, okay, guys, in 20 years, 15 years, where do we want to take Kenya? Because we also have the advantage of longevity. We want to see, I would like to retire in a country where, as a pensioner, I'm getting my money regularly, I'm living a good life, I can see my grandchildren. Saa hizi, bwana Bitok, my grandfather was lied to at independence.
Yeah.
Kwamba tutamaliza umaskini, ujinga na njaa. We shall eradicate disease, ignorance and poverty. Mamangu akadanganywa. Mimi nikazaliwa, bado nazidi kudanganywa. You are tomorrow's leaders. You are tomorrow's leaders. When is this tomorrow coming? Saa hizi, they are also cheating on my children. That you are tomorrow's leaders. As a parent, in this Kenya, we are struggling to make ends meet. And if we don't fix this system today, Altalala, I don't know what we will tell our children if God grants us more life to live, and our children ask us the question, Dad, where were you when we inherited this kind of country? I think we have to fix the problem of Kenya now. And the problem of Kenya now
Is the bottom.
is the
Is the top.
is the top.
Okay.
Period.
Actually, just as we summarize, I truly support that the problem of Kenya must be fixed. But as we talk about fixing, we must be practical and realistic. The Kenyan problem cannot be fixed overnight. And that's why I'm saying we must identify someone from the current crop of leaders who is true to his word and who says what he means and he means what he says. And that's why there is a narrative that is being tried to be propagated out here that Mudavadi just talks about uchumi.
Yeah.
It is actually on record that out of the entire top leadership of this country, it is Musalia Mudavadi who has always talked about our tax burden. And the internet never forgets. Google anywhere. He has been very consistent talking about our public debt. He has been very clear on the issue of taxation. So, the fact that...
To what extent, Al-Talala? You know, that's what people want to know. Yes, the economy, we can all talk about the economy. Please deconstruct it for us.
Now, you know, okay, when we talk about this economy thing, I actually thought we would delve into that issue deeply because actually the 2022 elections is going to revolve around the issue of economy. And that's why the other day you even saw Raila, whose campaign over the years has never been about economy. It has always been about reforms. I fought for reforms. I fought for reforms. I fought for reforms.
Which is a lie, of course.
But now,
not the only one.
he has now come also to talk about the economy. And if you go back to history, it is actually Musalia Mudavadi who started talking about this issue of how do we reduce our wage bill? How do we reduce our tax? How do we reduce our...
What has he suggested as a way of us reducing the wage bill?
Of course, he has several... And Ekuru, you know, it is good to do politics, but be factual.
No,
You know so well. Musalia Mudavadi is a former finance minister.
Yes.
And this is a finance minister who served when Kenya was in the worst crisis.
And how did he make our lives better as a finance minister?
He made it better because
How?
there are several things. Number one, this KRA, this current KRA, it was Mudavadi's direct effort. Is actually the guy who came up with the KRA. And you know that
KRA was there before Bwana Al-Talala.
My friend, let's not politic for the purposes of politicking.
No. But I'm saying, let's also not lie to Kenyans because KRA was there before. Unless you are telling me Mudavadi came with a certain policy on how KRA...
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
The policy,
KRA
not
was there.
the actual creation.
Yes.
So, we cannot just be saying, because someone is not making a lot of noise, then whatever he's saying should just be wished away.
Okay.
We've known of so many slogans whenever we have an electioneering period. I've just given you the digital thing that came with Jubilee.
Yeah.
It has no impact. Now today we are being told about bottoms up.
They're not even digital.
we are now being told about bottoms up.
Yeah.
The other day I saw a very senior member of Jubilee, of UDA or UDA, unable, a sitting MP, unable to explain what bottoms up is on a live television.
Not bottoms up, bottom up.
Oh, it is bottom up.
Yes. How are you saying
She was unable to explain.
You're becoming another Tuju.
If a whole MP who is supporting the bottom up approach by UDA is unable to explain what it means,
Yes.
and it is the slogan they want to lie to Kenyans,
I saw that.
we are now coming with the bottom up. It tells you our politics has not changed.
What's wrong with the bottoms up?
Bottom up, not bottoms up.
So for you guys, as we exit this stage, just know that 2022 elections, it will revolve around the economy.
The economy?
And the 2022 elections will be between Musalia Mudavadi and Ruto. And the only person Kenyans should trust moving this country forward from where Kibaki left. I'm not talking about where Uhuru is living. From where Kibaki left this country is Musalia Mudavadi.
But you know, we talk on a very light note.
Yes.
I think we should not accept anybody who has been a finance minister to take over the presidency of Kenya.
Why? Kibaki was finance
Yeah,
minister.
the time to fix the economy.
Yes, and Uhuru was also finance minister. Now you're doing very badly. So
now
I think the
That should be the basic rule.
on a balance on a balance of probability.
Unaweza ushaikuwa finance minister. Toka enda. Haya, thank you gentlemen for coming in. Appreciate it. Has been Sheria Wiki with Daktari Ekuru Aukot. President Ekuru Aukot leo ni birthday yake, ametuambia ameweka kasherehe, bonge la sherehe.
Bana, mimi unajua sisi wafugaji
Sasa kuna dawa ya corona.
Unajui mali ulizaliwa moto ulizaliwa. Unaamka tunapatiwa tarehe.
Sisi ile yenye ulipewa hiyo ndio tunakula. Yenye ulipewa hiyo ndio tunakula.
So don't know how I knew when I was born. My elder brother you know, back in the days we used to close school I think on Fridays.
Yes. Yeah.
So my elder brother had just come from closing school Kapedo Primary. Akuta mtoto amezaliwa. So later on I asked my bro, so what was my birthday? He told me, I remember it was a Friday. That we had just closed school. That's when you were born.
Ilikuwa enter.
And then I applied for birth certificate based on that information.
Ole juaje tarehe alikuwa amefunga shule. Ama ulienda kwa report card?
Si alikuwa anajua kwa report card.
Ulienda kwa report card
tarehe 30 Friday.
Even though ulipata birthday. The struggles of Kapedo.
Yes, the chronicle.
Hata mimi nafaa kuwa rais sasa. Ile mambo iko Kenya hii, atafuta mtu mwenye ajui hata birthday. All right guys, thank you so much for coming in. It's always a pleasure to have you Daktari Sheria Wiki. It's good also to have you for the first time. Alutalala and hope to see you again. We continue having this conversation. Kuna meza Uhuru was also finance. Ala, watu wa finance wote.
Watu wa finance
wasonga na rieng. Haya.
Wanatuongezea madeni.
Wanatuongezea madeni. But the most interesting thing is you know, I think we are worried about the wrong things.
Yes.
How can you be worried about the tax regime and not the debt? Because it informs you. I mean, they have a very symbiotic relationship.
Very serious,
So I think we should be more worried about raising more money because the government does not trade. Government gets money from taxes.
Actually, you know, there's a story we talk that KRA is actually very discouraged because even though they try to collect as much money as possible, like, you know, naona vile inaibiwa. You know, the moment they see the Auditor General report,
wananyonya.
Vile watu wananyonya, wanakuwa discouraged, sema what's the point? Unaona watu wa KRA waliamua kujitetea.
Anakuambia wewe uko na ngapi? Wewe leta hiyo sisi tuende. Na wanasonga. Right.
Inakuwa by the best one of the best businesses now in Kenya, the most lucrative business is to investigate corruption. Because kama umeiba 10 million bitok na mimi nalipwa 50,000 per month na government
nakupea 20k.
Sasa unajua hiyo 10 million ni nyonge ka kitu hapo. Sasa ukipata 1 million anaandika report
ni finyile
they said he was being convicted of corruption because they corrupt. Yeah,
the corrupt know the system, how it works. And I mean, that's the beauty about Kenya. It's been Sheria Wiki. We have a conversation around the legal happenings of the week and also kasiasa. Dogo tukipanga kazi ya pale mbele. It's been a pleasure having you. The Tech Class on YouTube. Thank you so much for always tuning in and having a conversation there. I know we don't get to have a much conversation there with you, but I appreciate the guys who have been calling in from the UK. All the guys are coming from YouTube. Please keep sharing our link and subscribe. Please subscribe. Come on, just subscribe pale YouTube, please. And ufinya hapa subscribe so that you are part of this community. Whenever we have any videos coming up, you can always get it fast. And also on Facebook, thank you. Keep following the comments and also the conversation that we keep having there. We really appreciate you. Keep also sharing the links that we have. Keep sharing our videos and we keep this conversation rolling. Also on Twitter, we appreciate you. Asanteni sana. We keep moving. I want to wish you a very good weekend. It has been the tackle and it ends now. Enjoy weekend and see you on Monday on the Common Sense edition. Bye-bye. We love you.
Thank you. Bye.